Welcome here. We got here to finalize the document we are debating yesterday in the main conference. Now we asked everybody to participate in this session as well, but I think we can start. So the major idea is to create a declaration for parties to sign, or for the board members or delegates of the parties to present to their members or to present to their board. So in some time in foreseeable future, ideally all all parties that are members of the European Union can assent to this, and also if there are other parties who want to support our campaign, they can join as well, such as, I don't know, Andorra, or if they have acquired a party, and other, or even Switzerland if they want to, obviously. So the main idea is to create a document which is as non-controversial as possible. On the other hand, we wanted to say something as well, and we want it to be like acceptable for everybody.
You can have a declaration of nothing.
Ed will assist you in the moderation.
Oh, that's
At Garrity.
Thank you.
He's on here he is. At Garrity, Power Party UK, he will be co-moderator in the PPU part today.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think I will hand it over to you, so I can actually take part in the debate, and we will. And you will be moderating. Or unless, it's best if the moderator doesn't present the main personal opinion, so if you want to take part in the debate. Okay, we'll try if we need the microphone, or if we can hear each other without it. Okay, I'll try now. Can you hear me all well, or do we need the microphone?
The stream will not be happy, but
Actually, the stream's got a microphone, which is recording the message, and it's not connected to the.
Let's speak up a bit, and I think we can do this without the microphone. Just speak up a bit, and I think.
Yeah. Okay. We'll try to work without microphone, and if it doesn't go, just tell me, and we'll start having people move here to speak, since we don't have the wireless.
But ask the streamer if it is okay for them.
Oh, this is the just session for this conference, just recording.
It's
not streamed.
It's not streamed.
Yeah. And also there is no remote delegate which is member of EU, so we thought it's not such a big problem. Okay. So you can all find this bad. Okay. Can you start like moderating, so who's gonna speak? And I'll just start with the proposal. Okay. Yesterday it seemed that it was all pretty non-controversial till this part. Can you all find the back? Do you see the address if you have the laptops? And then the major issues were whether we want only the program that everybody agreed upon to be presented, or whether we want all components that some higher parties adopted to be presented. So that was one issue, and how to present it also. It was Jens Heidenberg's main objection, and then there was the issue of whether the members of the European Parliament should be coordinating the campaign, or whether we should even put it in there, since since firstly we don't really know if they accept such position. Secondly, some parties don't think it's so important. I don't think it might be the best arrangement for coordination of the campaign. The reason we put it there originally was because we wanted to have some sort of central authority to run the website, not necessarily let them like interfere with the content. But probably we can just skip that part and make it simpler because it's not so important. The major thing is that we declare that we wanna work together, and the last part is that we have the intent to set up the Euro Party, that's the technical term for Federation of Pirate Parties at the EU level, if we are actually eligible to do it. So that part is major points. So I would first ask if there are some comments to it, and then move on.
I would like, more or less in the name of Italy, say I think it is of major, screen is fading.
Oh.
It's of major strategic advantage if we can talk to the press and say all pirate parties have the same program. I think it would have a huge impact because it has never happened before in history that a federation of parties has presented exactly the same European program at the European elections. I'm not saying that we don't campaign differently. I mean, we have a common program and then we extract all the points that we care about in our respective country and advertise with it. And the ones that might be a bit tricky for our country, just shut up about it. But it would be a huge advantage if we can settle on common points and make no exceptions. Not saying, oh, the pirate party over there is slightly different because they don't like this thing that everybody else agreed upon. That would be strategically, media strategically not so advantageous.
Actually, the concept, how we did it, and we can debate it, that's why we are here, is that we have that everybody can assign, like we make modular program, and those modules which are passed by everybody are the common EU program. So the party can have their position on something that is not agreed upon universally in the pirate movement, but we have a strong core where everybody agreed. So we don't force pirate parties to adopt the program. We don't intend to do that. They can just freely choose to adopt, and we are optimistic, pretty sure of it, that we'll have points that everybody agrees upon, and that would be the core. So that was the idea how to create it.
Okay, so we can advertise that as the European...
Yeah. So we say all pirate parties want to get rid of data retention, and all pirate parties want at least do this in the copyright reform, and all pirate parties want more transparency, whatever. And the pirate party of Greece wants to lower the tax on fishing.
I will give my opinion on the topic, but I also believe that maybe if we will not reach a consensus today about that, this discussion can be put also at a later date. The position of Pirate Party of France is that we're all pirate, we're here for a reason, because we agree and we share common ideas. So if we identify these ideas properly, then we need to put them in writing. We say this is the program of the European Party, the European Pirate Parties. If you want to join the European Pirate Parties, you need to have this in your program. And if you don't have this, sorry, you cannot be part. And it's a kind of way of saying that yes, we will force pirate parties to follow at least this mandatory part. So if you are not for the reform of copyright, sorry, you cannot be a pirate party, pirate party of Europe. If you're against protection of privacy, so sorry, you can call yourself pirate party in your country. Maybe you're a member of the PPI, I don't know why you got it, but sorry, you need to abide by this. And it will be very important to properly identify what is this mandatory part, because of course, no one wants to get something imposed by the top. But this is a thing that we need to work out together.
I think what makes the most sense in this respect is use the modular system to actually identify the common platform. Right, like right now, I don't think we have much difference on the core issues. So through this way, we could actually identify the common laws, and then once we set up the federation in the EU Parliament, we can have the other parties created. They are going to be ascending to adopt that platform as well. So, because I don't think at this point that there is any way to force anyone to do anything. So we have to work consensually, otherwise it cannot work, since like no one wants anyone to dictate and the outcomes.
What to do with that in the way that I think the first thing we must see is that we, the people in this room, cannot decide on the platform. At least for Germany, I can say this. Even if you put 50 German pirates in this room, you will have at least 150 opinions at home. So we have to convince our members that the program that we propose as a common platform, that this is something that helps the movement to grow and to stabilize the international movement. And I don't think we have to impose anything on others. I think if some platform points actually have a wide agreement from private parties from many countries, then there will be an evolutionary process which actually leads the whole movement to this common platform. Because if, for example, German pirate party says no, we don't agree on copyright because now they're campaigning against us and we don't want to do the copyright stuff anymore, and all others say but we still do, then even a single pirate party can't stand out there. And if we actually succeed in getting, let's say, 30 MPs in the next election, and 25 of them tell we will do this, and the minority of 5 people has another opinion, then even at home with these minority pirates, they will converge to that because they actually get that from the media. This is something we have actually seen in Germany as well, since we have we have 16 different states and they have all the different platforms. But if one platform is actually emerges as something that is successful in the daily political process, then all others will comply eventually because they can't stand out with a single minority. And this is something that I say let's make an evolutionary process out of it and don't try to force anyone to accept anything they don't want to.
I think there's one point all pirate party in Europe can say yes, was we now get the power from the land to Brussels. Germany has not its own power to go to Brussels, and all agrees. And the problem is the power is not in the European Parliament. It was in this from the natural state who are discussed. And when we say, okay, when the power goes to Brussels, then we want that all the power, is by the European Parliament. And I think that can be a point where every pirate can say, yes, this is a basic thing. And then a little, what is more than in the lands, when they say we Greek need this, or Germans say we need this, it can be done from yeah, you understand, yeah?
There will be a session on the actual program points that we agree upon later today.
Okay.
So this is just about we are mainly focused on declaration.
The way to do it.
So yeah, I agree with you that there are definitely points that we all agree upon without being forced. And if there is such a situation, I don't think we need to force anyone. So, yeah.
How do we ensure that at least all 27 nations, private parties are involved?
Well, can you let in the people?
No, they don't want.
Yeah, my idea was that we just make it like that everyone will want to join because it will be beneficial.
Yeah.
So,
but the Swedish party, party is not a member of the PPI, and also
this is
beneficial for them.
No, yeah, because it's not beneficial for them to be members of PPI. I think it's beneficial for them to join Europe campaign for European elections. So I think there is a difference.
You think, though?
Yeah, I was talking to Matthias Bjarnorman yesterday about it, and I think this also he thinks the same, that we need, definitely we need to coordinate once we are in the European Parliament, and this is also a step towards that. So I think there is a good chance they will send, just because of this. Obviously, we can't force anyone, but we are offering this platform, and at least we can always say these 15 parties are running together, and well, the rest will join on. It's their choice. So I'm sorry.
This is me then.
Your chance.
I will hand over the meeting to the press. I'm sorry.
I'm Pierre from Réunion, which is a friend, in fact. I have two things to say. First, we can have the same document, two things contradictory. Not yet, but maybe be careful to see if we manage that our future MPs cooperate to realize the program. We can not say in the other part that we are not sharing the same program, because how could MPs defend a program that is not approved, or a country does not approve? So we have to support the question. And the second idea is very important, because on the way of communication, we just need one shared ID. We don't need no more, no 10 or one. What's enough? Because for citizens and media, we will always be just one ID. We just need to identify the one we share, all of us. It will not be difficult. It will be difficult to translate it clearly in any language that we share.
Okay, I think we are going too far, because this is a declaration that we all agree that we have to do something. We don't have a point 3, for example, it's too detailed, so let's do that, but if you don't agree, let's not do that. The idea is that we need a common basis, and that's all. If you don't adhere to this, it's no problem. But we will find a common denominator for everybody, at least one, we are foreseeing. So let's make it just a declaration, then take out any what if, and move to the program.
So you mean more, instead of this, which is actually fairly detailed, I've been reading this book, you mean more kind of just a framework of just we should be studying common.
Point 3 must be modified, only the first phrase of point 3 should remain there.
Okay.
The rest could disappear, because it is untenable.
Okay. I've actually heard that a few times. I think you're probably right. I think it probably is too in-depth for the aims that you're trying to get. And I think you're right that we should not necessarily try and coordinate everything, but just go for maybe one. I mean, what do you guys think?
I will go further. I think we can today share one idea. Put it if we have one that everybody shares. It would be interesting more than how to use more highly.
Yeah, maybe it's a good idea, or else we will end up like European Union with 1,000 pages, something. I think that we should stay in very, very general and common sense, because if you think about local level, you have to think about what road to build. If you think about the state level, then you have to think about the government and stuff around this. But it's European level, so it's really high, and the thoughts and ideas you want to through in the parliament have to be really general, so that we can all agree. As Michael says, it shouldn't be like 20 goals or something like that, but let's say 1 or 3, like direct democracy, transparency, stop to bureaucracy.
I mean, do you think that should be part of this, or should that
No,
be something
we are
separate, built on top?
But the idea, it should be more general is good option.
So keep this proposal as just we want to work together, and then we'll kind of go from there with a separate document, which is the intentions of how we want to work together. Maybe.
Yeah, I think this text is quite fine. We worked on it since yesterday all day. Maybe we can try quickly to close it and start on the next step. I think this text is pretty consensual, and a few things have to be changed. So let's close this one and start to work about maybe political ideas about what this European party will ask for the members.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hi. I just wanted to say that for I don't know how many 5 years there has been people who have been trying to create something like a common political program on the international level. It never happened. It's something that is incredibly difficult, and if we do not lay down a clear roadmap how to achieve this, it will not happen. That's a fact from experience. The manifesto serves with plenty of things, but there has been no conclusion. So we have to agree on the way how this political program for the European elections will be formed, just to set down the mechanism, not the program itself, which is why we are trying to accept this here, so that we would have the 2 years to get the program ready for the elections. Because it will take a lot of time before all the pirate parties agree on the same, for instance, formulation of copyright, because copyright is harmonized on the EU level, so it definitely should be in the common program. There are 7 directives on copyright, and it's really not like we sit down and we prepare this program with copyright here.
Okay, I got the point, but my initial point still stands. This one is pretty much worked out. Maybe we could agree on this one and start the next step. So if the next step is not, let's make a program. Okay, so the next step would be where we go from now. We have this, where we go from now. And we have 1 hour, we can progress.
I have a proposal, not about the contents, but about the method. If you can scroll the public path down, okay. Proposal. We can create a liquid feedback instance for discussing and making decisions about the points of our goals. It's very useful to connect people far from them. So, since we are from Italy, Spain, Germany, and other states, for us it would be very useful to have an electronic platform to discuss and decide all the goals of our common strategy, and the number of the members of this platform will be allocated like this on the link. I just take a criteria. This the vision one of the European Parliament. If you can see on the right side, there are the number of seats of any country, and we can realize an electronic platform like this. So, a sort of liquid feedback with a number of total members of 736 reparted by each nation in that way. And with this platform, to go on with discussions for the next weeks, because today we cannot do a big job of we just agree for the first 2 or 3 points, but all the rest of our goals, of our political strategy can be discussed in this electronic platform. So, first of all, I propose to build this instance to let us discuss in the next weeks after this meeting.
It is a very good idea, but there's a something. Not all parties, private parties in Europe, are on the same level of.
Of course, the
their organization and involvement and so on. I think the German private party is way ahead of the most other private parties in their organizational structure and
they have
programmatic.
They have 99.6.
Yeah, that is what I mean. The Estonians, they are 10 people, and they have not the same structure and organization yet.
In terms of resources, in terms of the UK, which I can talk about.
That is something for in 5 years, perhaps.
Absolutely. In terms of the UK, I mean, we are we're quite a young party. Certainly compared to Germany, we're starting from the ground level. And if we were trying to do it this sort of percentage, if you look at us, we're in the top 4. I mean, we couldn't represent that. There's no way we could do that. So,
each state
There's several drawbacks of these proposals. First of all, it's organization, like we already said. You need to have a complete membership database on your national level, which is working, providing accounts, having administrators and stuff. Second is liquid feedback is by no way a medium for discussion. This is exactly what it's not. It's a medium for deciding, developing proposals, but not for discussion. If you want discussion, just forum. This will be just more productive and everything. You can discuss inside liquid feedback. This is just a fact. And third thing, multi-language. If you want liquid feedback as representation of people in Europe, I think you really need it to be multi-language. If you just do it English, you are by no way you win anything for the base members which don't speak English at the European level. Then we can just continue like here. Everyone here is kind of delegate or speaking English and stuff, but if you want liquid feedback with the course to be very democratic or anything, then you need to make it multi-language. And then we have the time perspective, 2019, not 2014. Then we're wasting our time currently if we want to prepare something for the coming election.
Is this part of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree on that, but I would say that first, you don't need much of resources to put up a platform. And I think if some, if maybe Berlin Pirates would host it, for example, it's probably not that big of a deal, to create a virtual space or a virtual space where we can decide about ideas and can really have a kind of decision making there. So it's not about, we don't need a whole huge program, but I think it's enough to have some pieces or some stating points where the pirates from all Europe can agree on, and I think this would help actually communicating if we have a platform. It doesn't have to be liquid feedback. This is probably not the best tool for that. But there are different tools and different platforms we can use for that, and I think it's important to work on certain outlines or certain bullet points for the whole European movement on a virtual platform where more people can participate than right now here in this room.
Absolutely.
All right. Concerning the placement, we're fine with the liquid feedback being hosted in Berlin or anywhere, but we also already took a decision that we would offer an Italian-placed liquid feedback for this plan. Like we discussed it in Italy, and we really love the idea. I'll answer several points. It's organizationally, it's not so hard because all we do is distribute tokens to each country, like access tokens for the number of so-called delegates, and they can distribute them by whatever strategy they feel appropriate, like randomly choosing people who want to participate, or if they don't have enough, then they just involve everyone. And in the case of the UK, if you're not enough, then just use less, and then it's okay too. The language problem, I discussed this yesterday with our friends from Spain because they would be quite likely to be affected. And they had a nice suggestion. They would just say everyone just writes the proposal in their native language, and as soon as they get more popular, we start having from automatic translation to refined translations. We just do something like having a wiki type of interface where we keep translations for each proposal. The uninteresting proposals would really disappear again, and the important ones would stay on top. Concerning debate, liquid feedback is a great way to evolve proposals in a constructive way. There's no way to fight to hit each other in the heads. So we can also offer a forum, but I'll bet people won't even want to fight about it so much, because it's actually pretty nice how you're forced to collaborate and produce something in liquid feedback. So I'm actually very positive about the debating style of liquid feedback. And the last point is there would be a huge advantage in communication about this. If we go out to the media and say this election program wasn't decided by delegates of so and so many parties, it was decided by members, European-wide members that were no longer looking at their country on name tag or anything, they were just voting or just proposing and deciding together. That would be, from a communication point of view, just mind-bogglingly impressive.
Excuse me, I feel I should step in. I think we are like way ahead where we should be now, because firstly, this is so controversial as you can get, and secondly, I would say we definitely don't have space for it. I mean, it's a nice debate. I personally like the idea, but I don't think we are ready for it right now as a movement. But I think this concept, what you offered, is not in collision with setting it up eventually. But I think what I propose to now, that if we could go through the like first proposal and just see what parts we agree upon already. Just find the parts that is acceptable for everyone, and once we are done with that, and hopefully we'll have something sensible already, then we can move on and see if there is something else to add. And we'll stop once we stop reaching consensus. So that's how I would propose to proceed from now.
Good. I don't know. Change right there in the chat. I propose a change to 2.2a. I don't like to create a common basis of the election program. It sounds too harmless. I would like to say to create a common election program.
Shall we go through it
put the
line by line?
Yeah, that's. I think we should really.
I actually like the idea of liquid feedback form. Well, one reason is there's definitely going to be a disadvantage for the people who do not speak English. Of course, we can collaboratively translate the important text, but it takes a lot of time and effort. And the advantage of liquid feedback is that the people who are not fluent in English can individually delegate to people from their own country who they trust. And it's, of course, yes, it's right, it is not the right tool to have a discussion. I think it's very important that we have meetings for that, and that we also have a discussion platform online. And it cannot be the place where the final decision is made. That has to be ratified by the individual countries. But the process of agreeing on the text, I think, would work very well in liquid feedback, because I think it would be better accepted by the people in the individual parties than if it was done by delegates at a meeting, simply because they can choose who represents them.
Could we please not debate this issue right
Yes.
now? I mean,
No.
I agree.
Because we are discussing a technical solution to a social problem that at the moment we will not solve now at this point the problem, because not all the parties that would be concerned are here. We have very great structural differences between parties. We have parties that, according to the seat distribution in the European Parliament, would get 10% of the votes if we use the proposal of the Italians, that have not even those members. They have not enough members to do it, and we have parties which much less that have much more structure. But as I said, it's a technical discussion to a social problem, and we learned that.
Sorry, but aren't you exactly breaking off this discussion at the moment? I mean, yes, the technical part, I agree, we shouldn't go into deep technical stuff.
No, I mean...
But I think we are at a point where we would like to discuss the social part, don't we?
Shall I suggest not discussing about not discussing the issues?
Can we have a moderator, please, because everybody is talking.
Sir. Andy.
Yeah, actually, you lost me here. I don't like the two discussions either, because I think two discussions as an experience don't lead anywhere at all. But what are we doing here in this room now? I think we don't have actually agreed on what we're doing here now, because some people are talking about how to write the program, some people are talking about the framework, just like Jakob said, what is the process, and what is the task of the people here. I think no one of us is deciding anything, because we are just about, what, 30 people? We can't decide anything, so we have to what we can do, in my opinion, is we can discuss the process, and we can discuss how we think that the people at home will accept or not accept the process we are proposing here. If we already start and say we have a complete strategy, and we know exactly who is setting up which tool and who is actually putting the members in, all we get will get a pleasant shitstorm, because I say, why did you decide this here? And all this time we spent here is lost. So I would propose to go back to what Jakob said, and what Mikuláš said here. We discuss about the process and how we think the process will be accepted by our members of all participating states. And if we can agree here on something, that might be a good basis. If we can't agree here, then we know we need a longer discussion. But this is, I think, the best strategy. That's very okay, but this is not a discussion of the process. It's a discussion of a declaration that states something perhaps not everyone will agree on. That's the problem. So we have to first discuss if we won't have this declaration, and then go to the processes, or skip it, the declaration, and go to the process discussion. What will we do, and how can we achieve it?
Okay. So does anybody actually disagree with this text? Because if we don't, then we can go ahead.
I have the problem I don't understand the text, because my English is not good enough.
I like his idea of just going through it line by line, and everybody who doesn't understand the line can ask questions and we can explain it, and we find out where exactly the problem is. So, like, first we intend to run in the election, I think, is something that we can all agree on, and then maybe
in a nutshell.
But the problem. Okay, no, I don't get that. Okay, so let's go through it. that once we have the things that are most consensual, we can move to the last one. So we debate first things like this, and then okay. So first thing, does anyone have a problem with us creating this declaration? Anyone in this room? Okay, good. So we shall proceed then. Okay. So the Pirate Party signed law agreed on the following. So it means that it's a document that's to be adopted by pirate parties.
Yeah. This is actually an important point. If we come to the, let's say, 2 o'clock today, and we are giving this proposal to the audience, then you imply that delegates are signing this in favor of their parties. I understand it like this. This is a major problem, because those delegates are delegates for the PPI General Assembly. Those delegates might not be delegated for anything else, actually.
Yeah.
Because this was, of course, communicated in advance as an organization about PPU, but by no way declaration or anything. So we already discussed this yesterday evening, a lot of time. So I would propose that we change the formulation slightly, that the persons which are signing this individually. Then you could write behind the name that you're a delegate of anywhere, but you're not doing it with the delegation power. You accept it as a person. And if we reach many signatures of people here, then it would be fully sufficient for the purpose we want to do, because it could go to the press, and it would be a signal for everyone, and it would not in any way be an abuse of power or anything. It was, so I suggest we change it to the pirate sign below, not the pirate party.
Well, I will just respond, and if you don't mind, and we'll see if it goes anywhere. The idea is that we are sort of going around the movement if we say we sign it as individuals. Because what's going to happen in the press is that pirates from these parties signed it. So you are intending to do something that's going to be like less problematic, but actually you are doing quite the opposite press-wise. That's just one thing. So my idea, but it's up to you to decide, was that we could have parties to sign it if they want, and I'm sure there will be parties who have the delegates that are eligible to sign it in Prague, and there's quite many. And then we can have delegates or people from like boards of the parties that are present that will sign, that they will put this proposal to the board or to the party members, whatever the ratification process is in the individual countries. So I thought that this would be sort of cleaner in the way to do it. But
I'll suggest another formulation. How about the pirate parties who will ratify this declaration? Because then we can give every member party the option to ratify it in its own way. For example, we could propose this to the coming up National Assembly in Germany. We have one in 2 weeks. And then it's the same thing which we did with the PPI statutes. We sent it to delegates, the delegates signed it, and the delegates took it to the General Assembly and said, we signed this, please ratify this for us, so that we can join them. If we say the pirate parties who will
or intend to ratify,
that's, I think, who will, because this means we only agree to the following from the point the party actually ratified the paper, not before. And that the delegates are only the advocates for this paper in the national.
But the will implies a must. And so, because will is nicht wollen.
Es ist werden. Ja.
Ja, damit hast du ja eigentlich die Welt übergangen.
No German discussions here, please.
Okay, you first. Okay, I don't agree with the new. So it's not me? No, it was first. Oh, sorry.
Okay, it's just a technical thing. I I fully agree, but the thing actually was there. It's on the bottom of the proposal, because if you accept such declarations and so on, you always sign them with the reservation of ratification, which is a technical term. Means when you come back to your assembly, it has to ratify it to take effect. And that's written right at the bottom of the proposal you got in written form. I don't know whether it's here in the pen. You should check that. There's no even the signatures. So I think that should be at the bottom of the treaty, just to, or treaty or declaration.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't agree with the new sentence. We should keep the Pirate Party signing. Every delegate here knows if he has mandate or not to sign such a declaration. So the problem that you're mentioning, I don't think it's relevant. And then I agree also that, of course, the delegates will sign on the provision that it will be ratified by the other country. And we don't know if every party will have its own ratification process, and this should be a kind of disclaimer in the signature. So with a reservation that the intent will be ratified by the said party.
Okay. There would be no problem to add pirates or pirate parties. It's just a technical thing. But what you mentioned, I strongly disagree, because the PPU, from my understanding, will be no organization that will be founded out of PPI. This is just wrong. We are trying to do the following. End of this year, we make a founding conference, and people, pirates of Europe, with their parties, can go there and do stuff. We cannot do it top down in this way. And if you do it with delegates, if you try to ratify it, it would be this way, and this would be utterly wrong.
There are two, one on the form and one on the purpose. The first one on the form is, I propose, just a proposal, a single methodology which will help everybody to come up with the same thing. It's a media report. We share this, okay? So who is talking to who to see what? Just these three questions. If we answer all these three questions, the problem is done, okay? So let's work something a plan. Who is talking to who to see what? And the what is, I think it's an intention. It's not a fact, it's not a treaty, it's an intention. That's all I say.
Yeah, I would agree on that. It's, who's talking, we are talking, or we are saying, or we proposing this. And I think this is really important that we stick with the proposal of Jens, because in Germany, this is going to be a shitstorm. If the delegates here, the 6 delegates here, kind of decide anything, they're going to be cut their head off. So please in favor, because I like the people. But I propose that we just have a vote on it. Like, raise your hand if you are in favor of the pirates, and just the pirates who want to sign it.
Yeah, and then we have actually a list of parties present here, because
there are no parties present here.
Okay, yeah, I understand it, because I understand the German objections, and I understand that it's problematic. So, but I don't think it's best to vote if you are like one huge delegation and everybody else wants to have the output.
No, and we can see that then.
Yeah.
When it's like just Germans say that it's we are again, then we can talk about it again.
Okay, but why this declaration should be ratified by anyone? We could say the undersigning pirates from 6, 7, 8 parties declare and so on, and we ask all pirate parties of Europe to participate in the conference at the end of the year and so on. Only as a declaration.
I'll try and formulate it here.
Okay, so in fact it's very simple. We have delegates of the parties present in Prague. It's a declaration from Prague.
No.
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 Not all of us here in this room are delegates.
Just wait a moment. We are the delegates, present in Prague. We cannot sign in the name of our parties. Maybe we can, but the delegates are here, so the parties cannot sign. The pirates here are not relevant from the media point of view. It's a declaration of 20 pirates.
Yeah,
It is relevant anyway.
That's very relevant.
Of the assembly, not of the parties. Of the assembly, this is different, but not of the parties.
Yeah.
The assembly.
So, even if I would ratify or not, we should think what do we intend. If the German parties, for example, cannot ratify, cannot assume the responsibility on this, the question is almost dead, because without them, we do not represent the whole majority of parties in Europe. And we need every party in Europe to agree with that. We have to find a common understanding on this piece of paper.
May I propose to skip to the next slide, because we said we will first talk about things that are consensus, and obviously this isn't. So maybe we can, do the first step so we know what we agree on, and then we can again come back to who is allowed to sign what and how we continue.
But why can't we treat it as a kind of letter of intent, not a kind of declaration or the treat just of a letter of intent that people who sign it will work in their countries about preparing the conference that will found the
Yes, there is at the point 4 or 5, I think.
Yes.
I think point 4 or 5 is we want to do, exactly, which is probably why, it's not a matter if we treat it as a letter of intent or a declaration. We should first talk about what it really is.
You think this says there will be a conference? It doesn't say it. It says we agree to establish.
You have to speak louder, please.
I'm sorry, I'm saying that.
Use the microphone.
So this doesn't say anything about conference. It says we agree to establish the European Pirates as a political party at European level.
Which is probably difficult to do without a conference.
Yes. But when you want to establish something as a political party at European level, you do it after you meet the conditions prescribed by the regulation. And that's not going to take place in 1 year. It's going to take place in 2014, perhaps.
I would also say something. Who we want to talk to? This is my question. We want to talk to the other party was not here. We want to talk to the citizen. Who do we want to talk? In fact, this is the only question which is very important. After this, if we say it is a citizen, we say which media will we use, the press and something. So I think in this way we should use the term private party because it's easier, it's politics. So it's a very senses. Any party not have to sign anything, they are not right to sign, but it's an intention that they say other parties write this to the citizens, send a message. I relay the message to my party. That is what we have to say is we want to go together to European election. It's the only word we have to say here today.
Actually, the idea was that not everybody signs it here, but everybody brings home declaration the party can vote upon with the belief that it's gonna be passed. That was the idea. We didn't want to force anyone to sign it here and get a shitstorm, but because of one of the intentions of the document is to establish the political party at the European level, which actually gives it the content. Otherwise, it's going to be like empty words in a way. So that's why we wanted to put that it's pirate parties and not individual pirates. But so the idea, if you think that after a shitstorm, obviously your party is going to approve of the declaration, then it's a good text. If you think it's not going to happen, it doesn't make sense to do it. But so first, think about whether it's possible to find text that your party, based on your experience there, can agree upon. And only if you think it's impossible, then think about the individual signature. But I think that's a valid point.
But this is conference. You can take this sentence 5 as we ask all European pirate parties to participate in the conference, to accept the European pirates and so on in this year or somewhere before the election campaign starts. I think this is an intention. We can only ask also those parties who are not here. We should ask them, and we cannot decide for them or make declarations for a European party which is not founded and does not exist.
Actually, I don't think there is any party that has realistic chances of running in the European election that is not here.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, we prepare this, we have these ideas, and we ask all parties, and we work in our parties that the General Assemblies also decide to participate in this conference. We can do it in 2 weeks in Germany, yes. And then everything is okay, yes. And nobody will make a shitstorm when all pirates who are here ask their parties to participate in the conference.
Me? I think we have 2 options. I think what you described was to make a draft that we bring into the parties and the parties are supposed to vote on. That's one option, but then we cannot sign it here in any way.
Or some of us can.
Sorry?
It depends on the procedures of the party.
Yes, I'm talking about the German pirates. The situation
Can
is...
you sign that you will put the proposal forward?
Well, yes, because every individual pirate can bring a proposal to the National Assembly. So any German pirate can sign a letter of intent saying, I'm going to propose this declaration at the National Assembly. Or a group of German pirates can do that. But, so we have to differentiate between a letter of intent that any single pirate can sign and the actual declaration that we want to build a European pirate party. And we have to be very careful to separate that, because if there is any, if the pirates in Germany get a feeling that we somehow decided on this in advance, then they're going to reject it.
Yeah, okay, I understand what was shitstorm when it goes wrong. I would like you to go up to the beginning of the part. I like the idea to go line by line. I made a proposal, line 11, for different phrase that maybe people can agree. So it would be the proposal C. So the delegates of the private party signing below. So it's kind of, so the delegate sign. So some can read that they sign for the delegation for their party. Then when you sign it, you can say, I'm Marcel for signing for the French private parties. Or if you just a delegate that you sign as a pirate, you can sign with your name as an intent to propose it for general assembly. So this sentence can go both ways. It can be kind of consensus.
Yes, but we would have to make it clear that we are not delegates, because, okay, I am a delegate for the Young Pirates, but the Young Pirates are not actually a part of the Pirate Party. So I cannot say the delegates of the Pirates Party sign the following. All I can say is the individual pirates agree to present this at the National Assembly. And even then I cannot guarantee that it will actually be discussed.
Can you maybe add, just an ask or commit to asking for ratification at the national levels?
Yeah, that's probably one way of doing it.
I wanted to ask a general question. Aren't we, by saying that we need the national parties to agree to this delegation, already taking ahead on the decision whether it's a European party formed from parties or from individual parties?
It's a technical term. It's by the law, it's Federation of Parties.
No.
No,
No.
the discussion was that the European Party is by law or by factor is the Federation of Parties, but you can have a European pirate party of pirates, which we can discuss, but I don't think that it's now and here the place to discuss whether we need such a structure. We are, in my opinion, here to coordinate an election campaign in 2014. That's damn close. If we want a program to be approved by all the countries involved, we need the program ready mid-2013, the latest, so that we can start in January 2014 to publish our campaign. If we want to do that, we have exactly 1 year to write something. And I don't know, the Germans know how long it takes to write a program.
Can we maybe just have a show of hands here? I think what Julia just said is right. We can have we can do different ways here. We can say we just see this as a letter of intent of all the people here, or there was, I think, the idea that somehow the delegates use their whatsoever the status to do this. So can we just have a show of hands if we want to do a declaration of the delegates or a letter of intent of the people in this room? Yes. So that I think we can move forward.
Okay, should we go for the delegates then for the first option? Show of hands.
Yeah.
What's the option?
So many delegates the question, so we actually see what we are looking at.
Okay, yeah. Vote on the proposal.
Yeah. It's whether we sign it as delegates of our official parties or whether we sign it as individual.
May I say something?
But we have no choice in Germany.
I have a page.
Germans can't do it.
Okay, I thought that there was basically two options. First is we prepare the declaration, and then there will be two levels of signing. Either the party signs, or the delegate signs that he's going to propose it to the party. So that's option one. The option two is just we make an open letter of pirates who are present here. Does it make sense as what we are deciding between, or anyone proposing something else? Option one is pirate parties declaration with two ways of joining in. One is as a pirate party, and one is as a delegate who promises to propose it to their respective pirate party. Option two is open letters of, or something like that, of individual pirates that are here.
There's a third option. You can just let the people choose. So some pirate parties can sign it as the party. That's the first option.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And then the ones that
some will already sign it, and some will just send it to their respective.
Like official pirate party statements and people intending to do is the first option.
Yeah.
You know, the mixed thing, you know, the delegates act as delegates, and the Germans, for example, who can't just say, I will make sure that the Germans vote on it, or, you know, or try to make sure. And that's because that's the first, and then plus bring. And then the second is just only individuals. Yeah, but why is not pirate parties representative plus bring up plus the people who are here as guests for
That is proposal E.
Oh, I see your point.
You know,
obviously.
Because we have, like, I don't know if Rick Feininger, for example, is a delegate, but you know, it would be nice that he signed it, or that other people who are not delegates sign it. For example, the ones on the
all the pirates here can sign that they will bring this proposal home and propose it.
Yeah, this was just what I wanted to make sure, because you have the delegates and all the people, you know.
I understand, but I think we are already in campaign, in fact. Being all of us discussing about this, we are already in campaign. Let's have a level higher and say what this part is inscribed in. I think in a communication strategy, this
part is the beginning, the approach. What happened? Let's say we are together and we send a message. Second step, we say we will build a program. And third step, we will rendezvous to organize as a party, as a federation, as each other. Those three ideas should be sent in the message, and it will speak like this. It's just all of us. What they are question, okay? But let's add this in it. So,
can we do the vote now?
Okay. Is everyone happy with these two options as they stand?
Could we vote on proposal instead of general question? Because after that we still have to identify what we will write.
For example, put that one proposal E and put that two proposal D.
No, I don't think I think actually these two proposals here is far more important thing than worrying about the wordage. Because for me, I'm here as an official delegate of the UK, but there is no way I'm going to be able to sign this and take it back to the UK as the delegate. I'm here for PPI, not people in the EU.
But you can propose
But I could take it back and propose it to the UK as an individual. But there's no way I could do that as an official delegate.
You can fulfill.
You can choose there.
I mean, we need to
proposal E and outline the.
I think actually the words are secondary to really. I think we decide whether we are doing it as representatives or as individuals.
Yes.
It's the most important.
We
need to choose between the two.
We'll just do like this or something.
And then we worry about the words of the pirates, presidents, delegates.
Okay, let's vote now.
Okay, so can I just have one thing about what the difference means media-wise and whatever? Okay, number one option is that there will be, the interpretation will be that pirate parties are going to form an organization in the future, and that they signed up to that, and that they are, as an organizations, going to run for EU elections together. And there is the risk that some parties will sort of be under pressure to do it. Then the option 2 means that we didn't agree upon anything, but we sent the signal as individuals that we are working together. But so it's up to you to decide.
I think if we went along the way you were talking with number one, personally I would say if we had, well obviously Germany can't, but if we had Italy and whoever else is represented here who said we intend to do all this stuff, but if we did that, the UK said we can't do it, we need to have this vote.
Not only but also our members.
We need to have this vote before we worry about the words. We really do. Okay. So, if you're all happy with 1 and 2 as they stand, okay? Okay. Hands in favour of number 1.
You have to ask the pirate parties, the delegates of the pirate parties who are running the elections. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. You are asking 7,000
Same
question.
Right, exactly. So, now that we have decided on the 2 options, maybe we can go to the actual text.
Yeah, that's.
Because we'll just. I mean, obviously we should probably discuss this with the big room later. So we'll just go through.
But we can prepare the vote, the votes for the delegates later. That can be our work to say how after it goes faster. Because we say.
One last thing before we vote, I just wanted to say it would be the very piratish thing to say we pirates. Without calling it representatives, delegates, anything. And it still sounds strong.
I don't think it's very pirate to mislead anyone. And this way you do. Because everyone's going to interpret it that way they want.
We have to bring pirate parties together to a conference. Yes, and I'm sure. Yes, but it will be this conference. Yes. And therefore, the best way is to ask all pirate parties to prepare this, and they are free to find the way how to do it, and can discuss this free on their assembly.
I just want to add something to the press. First of all, I don't think we should think about what the press is going to write, because they're going to write what they want anyway. So I think, it should be just open that we agree on the thing, this is the pirates and or pirate parties, but sign up on there, because the press in Germany, they already have the text, for example, where they can say, well, they decided to have form a pirate party in 2014. So if this text is going to be public, and it really doesn't matter who's signing it, it's going to be like, yeah, they're going to form a pirate party on the EU level anyway. So I think this should not be the focus here.
Yeah, okay, just 2 points. First of all, I must again disagree with you. When we agree on anything, regardless of how the wording in the start is, this will be a common declaration in the press. They are shortening it anyway. So you will have, if you come home, you have to justify it. Regardless if you sign it as an individual because you are there as a delegate or not. But of course, justification is much easier if you don't sign it as the delegate, just as a person. Yeah. It will happen. And the press will not make a difference if pirate parties, or, for example, my proposal would be the assembled European pirates. Yeah. Because this is a declaration of the assembly. It's the assembly again and again. Yes. Nothing else. And therefore we should state it, because the assembly is more than just individual pirates or anyone. The assembly. It cannot be more. This is what I would propose for 3. Thank you.
I go this way. I think we should be factual. What is the fact? The fact is that we are members, we are pirates, we are members of the pirate party. Maybe there is some components in the room. So let's get factual on this. Don't start thinking the media will say what they want. But us, we have to be factual. We are members, the proposal is not so bad. Yeah, you does.
Yeah, I think that this is a good idea to have it signed as an assembly, but giving it a greater impact by ratifying it by the parties that can ratify it here at the same time and publish that would be better. Sure.
I think we're turning in circles. We're getting nowhere on this. We agreed to have this discussion at the big room, and let's please just go to number 1, because we're getting nowhere. We're having the same arguments, and please let's just go to the actual text.
Let's just vote on this. Let's take a vote on this, and then we can go further. Yeah,
We love voting.
Okay. So we're going to go for this vote of 1 or 2. Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Now.
So, show of hands in favour of number 1. Okay, and in favour of number 2.
Nice one.
I think I know which one's got that actually. I don't think we need to count that. Yeah, that's pretty conclusive, number 2. Now, can you take on text and then you take over? I'm just going to skip out.
Are we going to number 1 now?
Pirates of Europe.
Well, actually, there should be possibility to serve for the pirate. Oh, was it Jody? Sorry.
There should be formal possibility for pirate parties to actually join to this when we say the assembled European pirates signed below agree on the it doesn't mean that a pirate party can sort of accede to this. That should be noted there, at least.
Point 6 is
Otherwise it
included.
doesn't make any sense.
Point 6, which you just wrote in the translation.
Point 6 now.
Point 6, you just gave them the option to do this. Maybe ready for this.
The main.
So,
And then you have to change all the wording, like participating parties and the rest of the whole.
So let's start doing this.
So let's start going through the Okay, so what against did I go through it so that we go through it? Okay, so point 1. We intend to run in the elections to the European Parliament in the year 2014. Are there objections against this sentence?
Not against, but maybe to run together. I think it's an important word.
Yeah.
We intended to run together in the election.
Okay.
That's the idea.
What does it mean?
Like under.
No, I mean it's just phrase. It doesn't have any like physical meaning. You know what I mean? Like if you put there together, there is nothing. The meaning of the declaration is not changed by putting together there.
Yes.
No, I'm lawyers, so I really want to.
Emphasizes support.
It just emphasizes the idea of the declaration, so I think that that's okay.
Do we have native English speakers in here?
He just ran out.
So it's already there.
I think of bad English because of this. Look at
das ist ein richtig schönes Deutsch.
Okay, so if nobody is against number 1, we can continue to number 2. We declare the common intent.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yes,
I would like to speak on number 1.
Okay.
Too fast. I'm speaking on behalf of Slovak Pirate Party, which is not registered as a legal political party and therefore has so far not the possibility to run for the election. However, the intention is there if there would be a legal possibility. However, the General Assembly of the Slovak Pirate Party did not agree on this as a priority for us, the 2014 European election. So if there is a legal framework in place for us to run, we may or may not, and we intend to do it if we have the possibility, but the priority is not there. Does it include or exclude us? Because I think this also applies for other small parties, the Baltic states.
That's right, I think you intend to run, so it includes you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Any more questions? Question number 1.
Can we discuss number 0 again? We just added something that we consider relevant to make it clear what the point 1 is about. That's the last part that we had.
Or maybe we can put it here, right here, like to the. We just make it like this. This is just description. It isn't part. It is
No, actually,
text.
the meaning of the phrase doesn't entirely match. Like, if we say we intend to run together, it sounds like the European pirates here assembled will run together for the European Parliament. It doesn't mean that the parties intend to run together.
It should say.
That's why the phrase needs to be in there.
It should say the pirate parties. The pirate parties is we. Because it's not us individual people in this room.
Yes, but as the final, if we ratify the document, then it would be fine to say we.
Maybe it's we intend all the pirate parties to run together.
That's nonsense.
Why is it nonsense?
Just intention, in fact.
I intend for you to do something.
No, we're writing a declaration for the parties to sign, so it's a declaration that starts with we, it's fine.
Yeah,
We just declared ahead that the following text is something intended for the parties to ratify. That's what that little added statement just means. We don't have to change the text of the document, we just have to change the text of the why we're doing it.
No, I don't think that's nice.
The European Pirate Parties, not every European Pirate Party is able to run in the election.
Yeah, we discussed that already.
That's why I say we intend.
All European pirate parties that run in the election or that will run in the election should do this together.
For simplicity, let's just ban pronouns. Sorry? Let's just ban pronouns from the text. For simplicity.
I'm not sure great
Or if we use one always qualified, we, that.
I don't know who's doing this work, but it's good.
Can you put it back the way it was?
Can you at least put the first version back? That makes sense.
Yeah, could we just have the first version and then the alternative proposal and vote on it?
That is real. Cooler, wenn es kürzer
Please go to my together.
So we already agreed that this will be signed.
Yeah, that's a fine.
Yes, this is fine. We already agreed that this will be signed by the volunteer people. So that's just plain right. We intend to run the
We
election.
intend, yeah, I mean, if we want to ratify it by the body that is able to ratify something like that, it is we.
Yes, that's why it says document. Yes.
Those parties that don't even intend to run are not going to sign it. I mean, why would they? So,
And if they don't make it to the election, it doesn't matter because they wanted to.
Can
This is the point.
I ask a question? The sentence in brackets, is this agreed upon? Which is just not in brackets right now. Because if the sentence in brackets is if we all agree on that, then we do not have to change all the grammatic stuff. So can we?
No, it's not agreed on.
Okay. So who is not in favor of the yellow addition to the first sentence?
No, we need to agree on something today. If this.
Okay, this way we'll say that all the delegates who are here are gonna go home and propose this proposal to their party.
This is point 6.
Maybe some delegates will vote already signed on the party.
Oh yeah,
It's very important for the media to say that.
Actually the parties who can do it.
I think we have a very grounding problem here. There are some people who think the pirate parties are forming the European Pirate Party. And there are some people here who think that there is only individuals decided here. Like it was on the pad we had here in the time before the General Assembly, there are 5 or 4 propositions how the Pirate Party of Europe can be formed. And all we talk about now is a fight about who can bring the word Pirate Party in the text and who will eliminated out of the text. Yeah? Isn't it that
But
I think the campaign. Hang on.
The first sentence works both ways. You know, if we could be the delegates because they will sign, I'm the delegate from whatever country, and I sign as a delegate for my party, and then there's the other list of the individuals who just sign their name, and the we works for both of them.
Yeah.
So there's no need to like do all the weird in the
As
second.
it's shorter, it's like it's more simple. So I think that's quite good as well.
Frankly, as far as I'm concerned, the text we should have it as simple as possible.
Yes. Yes.
We're getting, this is getting more and more complex.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget. We need to translate this.
Yes.
We've got really complex sentences. I mean, like number 3. If we're trying to translate this into something that makes sense in how many languages are represented in Europe, not just in this room.
So can we vote on 1A and 1B?
Yeah.
No, first we should discuss why this orange part was added. We should agree on something today here. We should agree on the text, not agree to that we'll do something later. So if it's not the parties who sign, so it's the people who sign. So if the people sign, the people should decide that something that they agree on. So the Assembled European Pirates signed me to agree on the following. Come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vote.
Then we
Agreed. But then it doesn't make sense before we have to reformulate everything.
Yeah.
And then when we submit it for ratification, we have to change the wording again. So it would be cool if we have a document that we can submit as it is to the assembly and ratify it. And for that document to be as is, it has to be formulated as if it was already final. That's why there is a little phrase saying document to be proposed for
How
ratification.
about the Assembly European Parliament side will agree on proposing the following document to their respective pirate parties?
Yes, but this is point 6. Yeah, we agree on it. It's not relative.
I would use the point 6.
It's not.
Point 6 is wrong at that point.
But it's a separate point.
Yes,
It's already there. Just needs it.
Maybe we can bring
Point
up point
6 is
6
wrong.
to the front.
No.
Because if we ratify it, then the point 6 is just disturbing.
Oh, this is intentional. Well, please, I think this part is not wrong. Please, I think this part document to be proposed. I think it's not wrong, but it will be at the end, not in the beginning. Maybe it will be done at the end, but not in the first part. Will be the only thing the media will be saying, but not document to be at the end because it's real. You can discuss it, but not in the beginning.
Yes.
Okay, so we
are going to above the signatures.
Yeah, and know.
So
Do we have agreement on that?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
To put it at the end.
Okay, apparently not.
But not at the beginning. Okay.
Okay, I'd like to explain something. Even if the parties ratify it, they're not going to ratify it at the same time. So number 6 will have to stay in there because there will always be additional EU pirate parties that may sign it at a later point. And I think it's important that the declaration says that this declaration may be ratified by the competent bodies of the participating parties. Because, for example, if the Germans ratify this, part of the agreement is that other EU pirate parties will ratify it as well. And that's why it's in there.
Yeah, okay.
So we can lose the yellow sentence.
Yes, please.
Okay. So we put it at the back and it's from here. Everybody has it. Is it the other?
The deep document as well.
Just on the following.
On the following. Let's put the title as a previous place.
Yeah, then we put the title
one.
Do we vote on 1A and 1B now?
Yeah, we should. Yeah, I think we probably should. Okay. For the vote. Okay, the vote on 1A and 1B. All those in favour of A, please raise your hands. Okay, I have a feeling I know this. All those in favour of B.
Who's Mr. Berger?
Okay, I think that's pretty clear.
Echter Demokrat, der macht noch eine Gegenstimme.
Okay, looks like we have a point.
Yes!
Don't get too excited. Don't get too excited. Yeah. Okay, it's 11:45. I'm wondering, do we want to have like a 5-minute break?
No.
Let's go.
You can just do it.
Okay, so get back on the text.
We can agree on number 2. Only on number 2.
The 2 eyes and the full stop.
Okay, I mean,
why would you?
Is there any problem with the
Yeah,
wording
actually,
between A1 and A2?
It's different. We should choose.
I think A1 is simpler, but I mean the intent of the statements is the same, and 2 is just more complex.
No, actually, 2 is, sorry, I will.
Yes,
First.
Yes, I would favor the second one because I think in the first one we are describing the way as being a basis from which you must develop, and the second one is just possible to just agree on the common points in any way we want. So
Yeah, but it might be misinterpreted that we are just running this single program.
But there's not written to commonly create an election program, but to create something like a common program. Or the comments of the election program.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course, it's wording problems.
Yeah, in the same way, I think the word create is not really exact, it's to share a common basis. We agree to, we intend to share a common basis, not to create really.
Maybe to create and share?
Create is really complicated.
Because we don't have one yet, but we don't have one, so we need to write one.
Yes, but no, we already have a program. We think because we share, we all created our own idea of the campaign, but we want to share them. This is the idea.
So, okay, I don't know about create and share. There's a point here. I want to discuss about basis or no basis. We should create a program, not a basis of the program. Basis of a program doesn't mean anything. It just means that we don't agree to have a program.
Okay.
If we're a political party, we should have a program, and we'll say this is the program of the current party.
Okay, so do we agree that we intend to build the points we have in common, but we will allow other parties to have points of their liking?
Yes.
First.
Yes.
So we need to find the wording that will communicate this.
Right.
So let's focus on that. Okay, so
Maybe just use
Why
a
don't we
common part of the program.
Why don't we say something to create a common election program while allowing national parties to add their own?
Maybe this would be for part 3 like that.
oh yeah, that's true. That if we explain it further, but it might get misinterpreted. So we should think about it.
I would favor A3 and give more explanation in the part 3 about how the program could be built with option or with localities.
I don't think we can agree right now anyways on the way how we're going to build this program. It's like going to be a future. Now we're just stating some kind of intent to do something in the direction. So I think it's not right to actually write a lot of details in there, just like to show some intent.
Can you repeat what you say? Because you explained very well.
Yeah, we want to say that the part of our program is going to be common across the EU, but we will allow the respective parties to add any points for their respective national campaign.
What if we just swap the off in 1A with 4?
Since I can't write in the pad right now because it's full, how about we just state that we create a common program as a part of the individual programs, so that it's just stated it's not the program that is everything, but just a part of the individual program.
But if you just say to create a common basis for the election program, then that just says we have a common basis?
No. I think it's such a wishy-washy statement that doesn't really have an impact. If media reads that, the plan is to create maybe something in common basis, it's so harmless it won't attract any.
Can we stop thinking about the media here, because I think if we try to satisfy the media and ourselves, we not
we declare the common intent. Common intent is to find something we got in common. I mean, I think it was a good idea to say something about, well, we have extension, some kind of national additions in point 3, and just say, well, a common intent is to have something in common for the election.
Yes.
Yeah. I think what is it? Oh, sorry. But I think
There's a proposal for the wording. I would prefer have, like she said, have the common election program, not create, not share, because both is misleading.
Yeah,
that's have, just have. Any other?
I mean, it's the same thing, with the pirate parties that don't intend to run in the election don't have to sign it. The same is like, just because we have a common basis doesn't mean we can. One doesn't prohibit, or it's not forbidden to do national extensions. It's just agreed that we do a common thing.
Yeah.
And I think 2 and 3 are just so that nobody misunderstands, but one is just the same.
No,
I think we should focus on the common thing.
The A3 was find a way to have a common election program.
The 3 is not. I think there is 2 ideas. It seems that we still, all of us agree about there is something in common, it's something that every state has its sovereignty. And the question is, did we make it on 2 separate lines or in one ID? I think I agree with him that the ID is to communicate, and communicate is one ID, one ID, one ID. Simple, the most simple we can, a short phrase. So I propose part 2, we share some ID. Part 3, we respect sovereignty. And like this, phrase by phrase. And we will stop when we all
makes sense.
It makes sense, I guess.
Should we put it to the vote? Are you happy with the proposal?
No. I want to eliminate the second common. We have already common intent.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. And if we eliminate common, it will be clearer to share an election program. Or may I speak to them?
So I propose adding part D to the whole thing, saying national extensions of the common program are allowed, or are something like put it there.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Are welcome. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and we keep the A3.
So we will keep the A3 and the
But I would prefer share though to have.
Okay, we'll vote on whether we have to share.
Okay.
Okay, so today I put
national
to
extensions
allow
are
to welcome national extension.
to the common program.
I'm sorry, is there a moderator or is it just everyone?
National extensions to the common program are welcome.
Do we need to the common program in there?
We have to delete it.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Well,
I think 2D is better.
Yes.
Because it all starts with 2, so...
Hang on. There is the... doesn't fit with the we declare the common intent.
Why?
No, it doesn't fit with the first page. Yes. Fine. There's the problem now.
No, actually, to coordinate a campaign to cooperate to welcome national extensions. Makes sense?
It's the D2 sounds sort of strange.
D2 sounds good.
We intend to welcome national extensions to the common program. There's some
regional.
Respect. To respect. Oh yeah.
To respect national extension program. Okay. I think that rather the common program should be a part of national one, because national program will be much bigger than a common.
Well, my proposal is to say we declare the intent to include a common election program in the national party.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to express that there should be also limits on the local or sovereign programs, because it would be very confusing for the general public in the European Union to have pirate parties of European Union running for the European Parliament as a single movement and having something in the sovereign programs that is completely opposite of each other.
Okay, well,
we have clear differences, you know. You can address that.
Yeah, but that can be addressed inside the movement, not outside.
But I mean, no party is going to sign the common program and then have a point that is the opposite of the common program, because then they would not sign it in the first place.
But not everything will be mentioned in the common program, right?
Yes. But it's possible to for two pirate parties to agree to disagree on something that is not in the common program. We cannot forbid it anyway. So
we cannot, but we should at least express an intention.
I think we should keep that for part 3.
Yes.
We should focus on the part 2. We already had kind of consensus of the A3, and we just need to rephrase the D2 to find another word, another verb to put with the 2, and then we can move to the 3, where we will discuss the articulation between the national and the European. Yeah.
We have.
So can we vote on A3?
Yeah? Okay. All those in favour of A3 as text? Raise your hands.
Well, does it include A4 then, or just have?
No, A4
is a different one, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so.
Actually, I'm in favor of it, but in combination with something else. So, could we just delete the one which is the proposal A2 and delete the vote? So the vote create versus share versus have.
Have we decided that we want the word have?
Let's first agree on the wording below.
Okay, let's first agree on the have, and then
create, share, or have.
Yeah.
But the proposal A5 does not include create, share, or have. Because it has
I see.
So
Sorry.
we don't need to agree on that. We should just vote if we want to adopt A5, and if we don't want to adopt it, then we can talk about create, share.
Okay, well I guess the best way to go for it then is vote on A5. and then worry about the other ones. Okay, so all those in favour of A5, raise your hands. Okay. That's not really a consensus.
It doesn't sound strong enough, really.
The most important thing we have to do to get this thing passed is to make sure that no one at home misunderstands this text as the PPEU making the whole election program. If there is even a single slightest chance that someone may misunderstand this as the PPEU making the program, I can tell you that the first thing I have at least 50 people on the next National Assembly to tell me we can't do this because we lose our sovereignty and we are getting dictated by dictators. So, whatever we decide.
We are, the European pirates, they will be the PPEU, and we know already what we need to go, what we need to put in the program. We need to put a reform of the copyright, we need to put protection of privacy, we need to attack the patents. We already know, and we can find what we put in the program. And we need to have a common program that we say in the posters everywhere in Europe, and we can tell the journalists we are a worldwide movement. We all have the same ideas, we all want the same thing, and this is our program for the European Union, and vote for us.
Yeah, but the PPU will be just a group of national parties, not the one party starting in taking part in elections.
This is going back to the argument. This is just going back to the argument of what PPU will be. We'd already decided it was a collection of individual parties.
International organization.
Yeah,
I'm totally with you. Every person in this room and most of the pirates know on what to agree. But I've seen hundreds of people discussing that everyone knows they agree, but not everyone was asked. And this is the problem. It's not that we do not agree, but that everyone wants to have the feeling of actually being heard and not the content. We know that the common content is there.
So that's why I was suggesting to have this at the beginning of the document to not get in trouble.
Hi. I wonder if we're not making this a bit too complicated. I'm sorry. I just got into the room and I've sort of seen this debate a few times back in Sweden, where I come from. There are a few things we should sort of think. But first of all the national pirate parties are sovereign. That's nothing you have to write in the document. That's a statement of fact. And actually, on the net, most people are sovereign as well. That's why you always discuss different procedures, whether you want to have a cathedral-based structure or a bazaar-based structure. If you're a Linux nerd, you might know what I'm referring to. I think the most important thing you have to do is to start a process where the national pirate parties can share ideas with other pirate parties in other nations. When you have this information exchange or this idea exchange, you're going to wind up with two solutions. Either it's no way that we're going to find a common ground, and hence we have to run as national parties in the election, or we might find that we actually have common ground on the issues. And then you will have the natural foundation for a European-wide program based on sovereignty for each and every other parties. Now my guess is, from the debate I've heard, that as long as you stick to the core issues, that means no patents, down with ACTA and other stuff like that, and down with the surveillance, then I think we will find common ground, sort of. If you go out into the broader spectrum, like for instance the nuclear issue or immigration or whatever you like, then there are plenty of options for actually having really nasty fights. But I think the most important thing to start here today is the process of the sharing of ideas. And when you have shared ideas, then you will know whether there's whether there is agreement or not.
This is a valid point, but we are actually in this phase. We're just discussing the wording. We already agreed on what we want to say, but we're just finding the wording in this passage. So if you might continue with finding the word in the first message now.
To contribute to the vote in the proposal, I would like the proposal would say A6 to share a common election program basis. Just that. So the word share is important, I think. It's a base that we share. Not the way they come from down, from up. This is what we share. A6 to share a common election program basis.
And German doesn't have
I think the basis is a confusing word.
Maybe basis is not the word. Maybe by limit in English, basis is not the best word, I think.
So you share a common election program. So you're like A3, but you want share instead of have.
Is that a moderate?
Yeah, maybe.
I want to know that we already share a basis with I suppose, because we are like all the other parties, we have the same basis, but we have probably different programs. So we like intend to share a basis is in some sense like trivial. But we can create a common program, but we already share a basis. I think this is how we should understand that. And if we have the basis, we can create something from the basis maybe, and if we want to choose between create, share, and have, we have to think about what's a basis and what's a program and how we create something from something, and this, since this will get a bit complicated, we think that basis is a bit bad and misunderstandable. So A5 doesn't include these problems. It's like really just a sentence that we want to have something common and how we create it from the basis or how, well, this is still open. So.
Yeah, but it's further down in the text.
Sorry?
It's further down in the text.
Yes.
We now have a lot, you hear a lot of arguments, we have a lot of option. I will say vote. Because we can discuss days.
I say that always voting is ridiculous because we bring 5 more people from the reception or whatever, and the decision will be completely different. So making decision based on this current set of people that creates majority is really ridiculous.
No, we don't have to change.
But it's a decision on wording. We're not like making any real decision.
Well, yes, there is, because if you read the proposal, what the common election program basis meant was what was specified in point 3. There is very big difference between some basis, some like to create a program, and an election program which is written text that should be included in all the programs that will be from up, down, communicated to the pirate parties to include them. It's a very different concept.
I think the most clear is to have a common election program. There's nothing about that there could be additions or what else. Even we have a common election program, I'm pretty sure that our party made addition. So we don't have to say this in this document. I think to have a common election program.
Well, I think it's important that we say it just to avoid misunderstanding. I mean, of course, we don't have the power to say this is the only program, but we need to say it anyway that this is not the intention, because otherwise people think that we are extending our mandate. So if we just say we have to have a common election program included in the individual programs, we have to have in the beginning, and it sounds more strong, but it's still the same thing as NATO.
Wait, if we have A4 and T2 and they kind of together, it's kind of obvious that we have a common program and then we have the individual program.
Yes.
There is no question. The private part in A4, I think it's useless. We that with the European Party, and we just want to have a connection program. To the point of having the virus platform A4.
Is there a consensus on the A3?
Well,
I want to
What is a standalone?
With D2,
I think there is consensus that there has to be, it has to be included, but that it has to be mentioned that the national extensions are welcome, because otherwise it's not going to get ratified in some countries, which is
so
not the idea.
A3 and D2. Can we vote on that?
Couldn't we like improve the wording? Just
improve the wording of D2.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with separating these two things is that they stand as itself. So you could just refer to your point A3, and of course it is moderated by what you say below. But this is not how texts are really valid in the lawyer speak. You need to have it in the same sentence. But it's the same. This is really different, at least from my point of view.
The point is that defendant.
For me, A5 includes any options indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
A5 says that individual bodies shall include a common election program, and this means that there are other things too. So we can remove the.
But it's no news. It doesn't sound like news to anybody. Of course, the parties share some stuff in common, but that doesn't really sound like we have a common program. A5 sounds boring. It doesn't sound like news.
I'm for making it as complicated as possible. So it's very easy. You know, we should really concentrate on important stuff. It's like 1 or 2 hours we are discussing really not important things, and then we won't have any time to discuss the things that really matter. I don't see the point in doing this.
This is, I think actually this is not, this is one of the key issues here to get a majority for this text. If I come home next 2 weeks, if I go to the National Assembly and I have A3 and E2, then it sounds like the following. There is a common program, and the individual programs of the member states are extensions to that common program. But if I come with A5, it means each individual member state has its own program, which is totally a totally autonomic program, which has a common part. And since I know that the pirates in Germany actually very much would insist of having their own autonomous program and not just an extension to a common program, I can tell you that making an extension to a common program will give us a lot of people who will disagree, right? Because they say we, as the German Pirate Party, have the right to make our own program and not just extensions to someone else's program. And this is just a difference on how I can get people to vote for that. So if you want people in Germany to vote for it, in my opinion, do not make the error of vote A3 and B2 because they will oppose.
Andy, if we agree on your point of view, then we might as well go away, because then we're not really doing something together. We're just sharing some parts of copy and paste it. That's not news. That's not a reason to write this document.
Well, I don't think it actually, it means the exact same thing, whether you have a common program in extension to the national program or the national program in extension to the common program. It's the exact same thing. It's just a psychological way of making people, yes, but that's
the key. It's exactly the key.
So I think if we had something like to have a common election program included in the individual programs, I think it would sound stronger. But it's definitely news. I mean, most parties do not.
Okay, I think it would be good to rephrase to have a common A5, to have a common election program included in the individual programs of the respective pirate parties.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty consensual. I understand you are not happy, but everybody's not gonna be happy.
We have to have included in. We have a common election program.
To have common election.
And we want to be more
included the programs of the respective pirate parties.
Okay. I'm happy with that actually.
Yeah.
Cool.
Guys, I would totally agree with the gentleman over there. I think, without speculating too much, that would be exactly the same position for the Swedish Pirate Party. If anything is signed that says there's going to be a common program, you have to accept it. And basically, we're going to walk away. Period. And that's not just me, that's basically a consensus through the entire organization. The thing it should say is that we're going to start a process of sharing ideas. Not, yes, we intend to run, or we said we are going to help pirate parties who intend to run. Because that's actually what's going to happen. The Germans are going to run, the Swedes are going to run, hopefully there'll be lots of other pirate parties who are going to run for the election. And this body will help those pirates in those sovereign parties. Not try to control them, not try to even write text that might be misinterpreted to control them, but help them to share their ideas, nothing more. Now you might further down in the process note that actually the Germans copied the Swedes program or vice versa. So then perhaps it is then perhaps we have a reason to actually have a common program. But right now you have to respect this parameter of the national parties.
Well,
because one can participate.
I haven't really known about this have and include. We could also do to have and include a common election program, or if we want to be a bit stronger, we can say we want to create and include a common election program, which means that we are creating something new, adding some new value. But yeah, that's all there is.
Well, like, can we just, cite something? Because it has been said everything was not by everyone, and it can't be, programming.
I think we don't get a better consensus.
And are we? So can we remove
which one I thought?
the proposal for that no one wants?
And fine.
There's
So
anyone?
no one wants A1.
We can remove anyone? Any objection?
No objection.
Okay. A1. No.
The first command.
Okay. A2, we're all happy to get rid of that one as well? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think really it's between A4 and A5, really.
So we can remove A6?
Yeah, I think A6, any objections to just striking A6? Get rid of A6.
No? Okay, A6 can go.
National party.
Yeah, of the national party.
Fiddle with the exact. If we can actually get the intent of the sentence, we can fiddle with the individual words at some point. So really, A3, can we get rid of A3? I don't think there's much support for A3. Is there any objection to removing A3? No?
Oh, okay.
Try to reconnect before someone else does, because
It's lunch break.
Internet is shut down now.
Just click on the picture.
It's full.
The pet disagrees.
That does not work.
Dave say no.
Hey!
Okay. So A3's gone. So we're between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Almost. Okay, so we go for A5 first.
Okay, all those in favour of A5, raise your hands.
A5.
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 Yes, A5.
Read it loud and everyone can hear.
Yeah. To have a common election program included in the individual sovereign, whatever, programs. Oh, sorry, in the individual programs of the respective sovereign individual parties. Whatever that word ends up being. So, yeah, I think that's pretty okay. And then if we go for A4, it's just to have a common election program shared by the pirate parties. In favour of that? Okay, it's definitely 5.
Should we take a break? Should we take a break?
No break.
No break.
Maybe we just do number 2.
Yeah? Okay.
Let's just complete number 2 and then we can...
Yeah, let's, okay. So we've gone for A5. And we want to strike this column here. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. No.
So we remove.
Yeah, no one was against you.
Harsh. Okay. So there we go. We can worry about the word respective later. I think we should just get the meaning of the phrase in place. Okay. Do you want to vote on the create, share, have, or are you happy with the have column?
Well, this is a different type of have. It's it cannot be replaced.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so B. Are we happy? Are we happy with B if we strike that last bit?
Is it we really need B? Is it a single campaign or multiple campaigns?
Just
One
one
campaign,
campaign.
2014.
Okay, so we
I
have
think-
to coordinate our election campaigns.
I think it leaves enough room to just, so we can go ahead.
Okay, let's change that campaign to campaigns.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I would prefer if we talk in terms of one campaign. But of course, you can only coordinate several campaigns. So if we say, if we want to have one campaign, then we have to change the word to something like,
Our campaign is one program.
We cannot get...
How about to coordinate the election campaign?
We cannot get one election campaign. It's impossible to have the same election campaign all over Europe.
Yeah, but it's the election campaign for the European election.
Yeah, we can coordinate it. We can have same whatever, but it's not the same in Portugal and in Sweden.
We have one campaign in Germany too.
Exactly. To coordinate our election campaigns is probably...
Okay.
What about to coordinate our efforts, our resources?
No.
No, too words. Too many words.
Can we just vote on it? I think it's...
Yeah.
I think we have to consensus.
Okay.
Or who likes that?
Who likes B? How it is?
Could we have the option campaign and campaigns and see who's for what?
but
And then
campaign is grammatically incorrect.
Yeah. Okay, campaigns. Are we happy with B?
Are we happy with B?
With this as it stands?
Aye.
It's our election campaign.
All in favor say aye.
That's pretty much. Yeah. Okay, on to C.
It was too easy. Start fighting.
Are we happy with the wording of C, or is there anything that people want to change in that? Yeah? Can I have a show of hands on C as it is? All in favour of to cooperate closely with the European Parliament on the realisation of our programme?
That should be stated, it's the common program. It's the one referred in the A, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Common?
Yeah.
Because
the addition of common.
Yeah, it's not clear, right, which program.
Yeah. Okay, you're happy with that in common to make it explicit what the program is? Okay. On C.
I think if elected review.
I think we can move with elected.
I think we probably can as well. Well, is there show of hands to remove if elected as superfluous? That's pretty conclusive.
We will realize the problem even if you're not elected.
Yeah. Okay, so C as it stands.
Okay, I want to keep the if elected because we already have pirates in the parliament, and if we remove it, it means that the current MEPs will work towards realizing our common election program before the election, and that's not what we're saying. So that's why I want to keep the if elected.
Yeah, this is yeah, the common program is the one where we defined here.
Yes, but the common program will be passed before the election. But what we want to say is that we will work towards that after the election. So we either have to say if elected or after the election. Because otherwise it means that this time of the media is supposed to work towards realizing our program.
No, they have to cooperate.
It says also our common program, as there is no common program yet, as we understand it here, I think this is okay if we leave it out.
And it will be before the election.
Yes,
Some space before the election, in some space in time, there will have a common program. That's fine, it's in the context.
Yeah, and so this document is explicitly about working for European Parliament.
Can I just ask a simple question? Since there are only 2 Swedish pirates in the European Parliament, which other pirates should cooperate? So we're thinking as about a special case, which is actually not the case right now.
Realization of a program. Yeah? Not cooperation, realization is important.
To cooperate closely in the European Parliament.
Yeah, but they can just simply assent to the program to the election date and avoid this problem. So,
can we move to point
okay, are we happy with C as it stands? Cooperate closely European Parliament on the realisation of our common program. Thank you for changing that. Show of hands, we happy with that? That's the wording is. That's pretty conclusive. Okay. So D. D is kind of what we need. Correct?
Yeah.
We've already covered that.
Wait a minute. It remained the idea said a few minutes ago. There is one phrase, we, and it's not at the end, actually at program, but I insist on the fact that 4 ID would be easier to understand than 2 ID in blind data.
Yes.
Voilà, this is what I was telling a few minutes ago.
Yeah, but we already agreed point A.
Yeah,
So let them
it
would be better.
It would be better, I think.
Yeah.
It's such an idea.
The agreement was to put these 2 pieces of ideas together.
And
this was the whole discussion. So I think we should move on. If anyone agrees, we can do D1, 2, and go to Mark 3.
Okay, guys, show of hands for removing D entirely. Yes? That's pretty conclusive there as well. So, 1 and 2, D. Go. Okay, 1 and 2. Seems to be complete. Okay, do we want to go on to 3? Or do we want to go and grab a drink? Or a smoke?
Only time.
Only time. We have a lunch break.
Yes.
At 1 o'clock. Then we don't need a break now.
I guess yes.
When is the lunch break? 12:30 or 1?
12:30, it should be 12:30.
Right on time.
Lunchtime. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
3 points in 2 minutes, please.
I have a question about option A. Like we had before, we should include a common election program. Now we should have included. Like, what does it? What's the difference actually? I don't speak English like in the native language, so I don't really know which one of them is stronger. For me, by now, we intend to include a common election program. Seems stronger, but I think we want a stronger version.
When do we reassemble?
Yeah, I want to make a suggestion because I want to hear the speech of Fabio Reinhardt.
Yeah.
And perhaps some others also will. So we can come together on 14:30?
After this speech.
14:30.
How about, it's just an idea, I don't know, if we could continue till 1 and perhaps we can actually finish it in the half an hour. But I don't know if it's realistic.
Yeah.
No, I don't need.
Okay.
Well, it's not everybody needs to talk.
Okay, so let's reassemble it.
Well,
14:30.
2:30, we continue.
Can I just say something? Can I just say something? I think it's better if we got this 2 points done. Thank you.
We'll continue this session. You almost have access to the pad. How you can EU, PPD and E-Pad, because it has unlimited number of people. Was it announced in the big hall? Anyone came from there? No, it wasn't. Oh, I asked them to announce it. Also, it's on the walls. It's not. So we move to part 3. Can I just quickly check who was present in the morning session? So, okay, good. So we know what we are doing. Matthias, do you wanna say something? Okay, so number computing then. And is there any volunteer for moderating? So preferably someone who doesn't have many personal opinions about the matter, but who could just keep track of how people raise hands to speak. Any volunteer? Joanne, could you do it? Oh, thank you. Just sit down. Okay. This is the version we presented yesterday on the plenary session, and me and Jakub, we tried to modify it so it's consistent with the changes we made in the morning. So if you could quickly read the original thing and the updated version, and unless you have any objections, we will move straight to the updated version, so we don't spend time on the document. Which option is it? Try to make it bigger. Can everyone read it, or shall I read it, or?
Can we make it a bit smaller so we can see?
Yeah, like
maybe we can read it.
Yeah, I think perhaps we should move. Is someone who cannot access the piratepad.net because there's too many people already, or can you all access it?
Why do we
just read zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Don't recite the music. Just zoom out. Just control scroll. Yeah. Scroll. Again.
Yeah. Perfect. Let's move it slightly. Or full screen. Okay. Can everybody read so we know what we are talking about? Awesome.
Put it in the full screen. Does everybody in the second line mean really everybody, every pirate, or every pirate party?
Yeah, we meant every pirate because we didn't think it makes a difference because parties are free to choose from the proposals.
Right, every pirate, everybody.
Okay. So it's clear. Everybody requests every pirate.
I don't quite agree with line 28. I don't know if this is the point of the discussion now.
Yeah, I was asking whether, or it was a proposal how to proceed, because the line 20 to 23 is not very topical anymore. So we try to sum it up, or we can, like, I don't know how else to do it than to come from the original proposal, but if you have a better option.
No, we can skip 20 and 22 and focus on the 28, but it's quite good, the 28, but some details are not
Yeah, that was the idea. That we'll just first agree that we work on 28,
yeah, okay.
And if we do, we start working on the ideas.
I agree to discount 20 and 22.
Okay.
Put every sentence on separate page, maybe it's easier to refer to the sentences. Like by
Okay. Jak vůbec uděláš to? Přesunout věty na nový řádky, aby se vtipno bylo. Anyone knows why Jens is not here since he was told that it's right now? Second version.
Maybe they are voting. I'll ask him.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I think we can just delete the previous proposal.
Why?
Okay, so I think we should start line 27. The common program shall consist of components regarding European politics that have been approved by all participating parties. So this means basically taking the modular approach. So we'll split the topics, split the program to topics. The parties can say we support this format of this proposal on this concrete topic, and then the collection of the topics parties agree upon, and all of them will create the common EU campaign program.
100% process?
That's the proposal right now.
There is something that I don't like about this sentence, is that if there is anyone in a group, if there is anyone in the group who is not a real pirate party, so I don't know how he gets inside, and he decides suddenly that he doesn't agree with any point that is specifically a pirate core value. For example, someone who say protection of privacy is bullshit, Google is great and should support.
Yeah, but we are talking about pirate parties.
Yeah, so if there is a pirate party getting this position, he should not be able to block a point that should be in the pirate program.
Yes.
So my position is that it's approved by all parties. It's too strong. Does that mean that any party will have a veto to remove a point from the program?
Yes.
So the proposition that I have, of course, it's difficult. It's not really the place to decide. But the idea would be that it should be approved by strong majorities of parties, or approved by to be part of the core pirate value or something like that. But this sentence gives too much power to a single party to become a troll and to block the whole thing.
How about we just include the statement that we can just throw out trolls if we encounter them? Because either they are a troll or even or they really have some problem and we should discuss it and figure it out.
Yeah, but if we don't have a 100% approval, we should still be able to put something in the program if there is 90% approval, for example.
Yeah, but we still, we still can, those 80% can put it in their program.
Yeah,
but the idea is exactly that we were building the program that everyone agrees to and wants to work together.
Yeah, everyone's pirate, but
we can't make it. We can't say to some party, you must have this in your program.
Yes,
there is no such power.
Yeah, otherwise you are not the pirate, and then you should step out of the European party. If you are a pirate, this is what you need to abide, and this is the program of the European party. And if you don't agree with that, sorry, that means you're not a pirate. If you don't want copyright reform, sorry, you're not a pirate. So we should have a base that is mandatory, and that this base should not be up to a single pirate party to veto on it.
We have a quick case in Italy where we have a fake pirate party, which is actually pro-copyright because it comes from the phonographic industry. I mean, it's a scenario we will probably never accept that fake party. But anyway, it's not completely wrong to consider a scenario where we might have accepted somebody that actually isn't on our side, or in future might happen. So something essential like copyright or like privacy, these essential things should not depend on single blocking members.
But if we say that all parties shall agree on every topic we have in the common program, it will be a very, very small program.
I don't have a problem
consisting
with
of
that.
one or two.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, but
Even
we
if it's 5
perhaps
points.
have a problem with that.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Proceed.
No, I'm ready.
No, even if there is only 5 points, the point is this is the pirate, and all the pirate parties that are members of the European Pirate Party, this is their program, and this is what we want. We're a worldwide movement. This is our program. And we need together to decide what is the program, even if it's not a lot of value, but when we set it, so that's it. And we should not have one member to say, no, this I don't want, because.
So I can see two different problems coming from this too, that there is no consensus at all on no proposition, so nothing in common. And the other is that this sentence could be, I don't forget for the way I use it, but a way to someone to block for having his resolution adopted. I want this, and until I want this, I say no.
Exactly.
I think it's the main problem of this.
Yeah.
So I think be careful with this.
You want to say something?
No, it's what he has.
Okay.
Well, I'm not much of a voice today. Anyways, there is no problem whatsoever with this. Basically, if we have a majority vote, whoever is as auxiliary, that party will be out, more or less. If you have the majority system, you will say, well, we don't stand by the program. So unless you have consensus, we will have a vote, and then we will lose some of the parties not joining the platform, which is worse than having a small platform. And there is no risk of someone blocking this because it says every participating party, but it isn't defined who the participating parties are, which means that we only define that some parties are based on that party out and we continue without them. So if someone tries to block it, well, then we say, well, then maybe we say, that would be the majority actually, because the rest will just continue on without that blocking minority. But that will only happen if it's very, very obvious that that blocking minority is a troll and not actually participating.
So you need to have a body that has the power to reject a party?
We don't need to have a body or anything, it will happen by itself.
It will not happen by itself. Oh, sorry.
If we have, if you really think that this is a problem, why not introduce a 9-count majority vote on this? This is so vast majority, nobody can ever tell us that.
Because, okay, I will try to answer the question. Unless we have full consensus, there is no way to decide how the majority shall be decided so everybody feels all right. So is it one party of Germany is going to be forced to adopt a program of all other parties that have even combined less members? Or is it someone else forcing someone, or is it going to be, because Germany has so many members, someone small is going to be forced to adopt something? Once you go away from consensus, you have to make rules, and then you need a formal structure and whatever. While as long as we keep consensus, we don't need any formal structure. We just make a proposal, send it to all parties. If they agree, we put it on our program. If they disagree, we have to see, well, we said we wanted to protect privacy and this party disagreed for no good reason. Obviously, it shouldn't be in the pirate movement. But then the problem is that there is a fake pirate party. The problem is not with the consensual politics.
You remember how difficult we had in the past to agree on point 1 and 2? So
Yeah.
how can we agree on on 27 member states, in 20 perhaps more pirate parties all over Europe of the same sentence?
Okay, I'll try to respond to the questions and then we'll obviously. How can we do it? Firstly, there will be much less parties than 27 running for EU elections. If the party actually has the organization to run for EU elections, it probably has the resources to have a guy working on a common program. That's one thing. And secondly, I think point like we want to get rid of data retention is pretty non-controversial, and we'll all agree on things like that. So I think there are proposals. Anyone here who doesn't want to get rid of data retention?
No. That's not the question. But to example, the German pirates, we have a consensus of getting rid of atomic power. Yeah? But there are some pirates that won't get rid of the power because it's a very good technique. So there's a consensus. You cannot get consensus.
So we don't put that in the program. This one will not go in the program. So it will be this one will not go in the program.
Yeah, exactly. So the program will be very, very, very small.
Yes, yeah, that's
already useful. I think it's very good idea that the program is very small. It's not a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. I think it's a problem.
Just one idea.
It's not a bucket feature.
If there is just one idea in the program, it will be just very, very interesting. And it's not a problem if there is 3 or 4, and that even there is one you're not completely in the consensus because of the form or the consequence. Anybody could have not to communicate first on it, just put it in the program and say, okay, we try to have arguments about this, but we don't think it's so important, so we few communicate about it. But for the other, we say, this one we are all agreed, it's very important.
With the line 19, any foreign party would be able to not approve any points. You will have a program with maybe 0, or 1 or 2, because any point of the program needs, with the line 19, any point of the program needs to be approved by 100% of the members. That's maybe not achievable. My proposal is to get an agreement that the program should be approved not by 100%. Let's say 75% or 80%. Means that if there is some minority pirate party that don't agree with that, so they will have to accept the fact that it's still in the program of the European Party.
Second round, please.
I also want to support that because I don't think that we will manage to get 100% convinced, even if the idea is okay and approved. Then we will have ages of discussions on the wording, and I'm not sure if we will ever manage to get 100% agreed on the content and the wording by fall. So I think.
Well, you can't have it. You can't have a party forced to accept the majority because that party will be out. Eventually, I mean, you will end up, if you go from majority perspective, I would say the Swedish Pirate Party will probably end up out, and the Czech Pirate Party will end up out, and the Belgian, and then you have the majority pirate parties, which means that you will not have a joint platform. So either you will have a joint platform, then you need consensus, or you will not have a joint platform, but a majority platform for the majority. There's no coercion mechanism to make one party join the platform unless they think it's beneficial. In a lot of the member states, I mean, in Sweden, for the Swedish voters, it's actually not beneficial to say we got this from the rest of Europe because the Swedish voters would not see that as a positive thing. So every small party.
I think I've got an idea proposal. I think we are already focused on what we differ on it. Stop it. Let's start by the process that what we are agreed. We agree that everybody should propose something. Let's start only with that we all agree. The processes of how the idea will emerge. First, everybody can propose something. Then, how everybody can construct on this thing. And then, after, only how we decide that this is the thing. In the process, stop this discussion and go to line, yes, 21. Let's start there.
Yeah, actually, the idea is we have 2 years now. So,
1 year.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. But we have more time if we decide to do the majority rule on this. So the idea was to attempt at the consensual approach, because if we don't succeed, anyway there will be like big part of the pirate parties going together and some staying outside, and then we don't really need, we don't need anything we call common declaration, since we can't force it. So I think it's a good start. Like one day it can happen, but I think this is the only way we can get this thing started. Yes. Otherwise, no.
I think we all agree that we can find a common ground that we can bring as a program of the European Party. Now, I'm thinking about a practical way to get this done. We cannot have 100% people agree on one thing. It's impossible. This is why if we put all participating here, if we put this here, it will not work. So I suggest we take all participating by strong majority, and we let the later time to think about how we conclude the strong majority.
One suggestion, can we just get rid of the word all by being approved by participating parties, and then it is not we to decide how we shall do it in the future. It is the members of the new PPE who have to decide.
Yeah.
So get rid of the words and then we go on.
So the thing, yeah, right.
Please think of it like this. We need a way to unite. We don't need a way to divide. Okay? If you say the majority can push something, then the rest of the parties will be disappointed, really. And you cannot force a political party to have a program. They have to agree. So 100% of the parties which will be participating have to agree on a common basis. If they don't agree, they just will go out and will divide the pirate movement.
First, I agree that we should remove the word all, and maybe we could limit that to vote. But it's not, you said majority. I'm not talking about majority. It's very bad to have a majority of 51% to decide if this will be part of the program. I'm talking about a strong majority, like 90%, and consensus that will leave out the minority who are obviously wrong, that it's not their seat here, but that we don't have the power to exclude them. How can you exclude a party from a European party? It will be excruciating discussion and motion. It's more simple to say, okay, you know what, that we will have trolls, we'll have fake parties, or we'll have people that it's a mistake that they should be here. But if 90 or 80% agrees that this is pirate core, okay, that's it. So we should remove the word all and leave the rest of the discussion for the future European Party.
So I just have one question about the majority. What about if all parties will, about some topic, will tell okay, but not the German party? And is it still majority or is it common?
I don't have answers now. This will be discussed by the future European parties. If we decide that every party has one vote, or if we decide that party has how many votes based on their membership or based on their population, it's a very difficult question that we cannot answer now.
If we
excluding everything 100%, it will never work.
Yeah,
we have zero in the program.
No, but excluding any part of the further PPE EU, it's not a common.
Yeah, but anyone can become we didn't discuss the entrance criteria of admission. So anyone will say, me, I want to be part of the European Party. After that, I will say, these, no, the copyright
it has to be the blah, blah, blah. It has to be the parties running for European Parliament. So there is at least ensure that they have some level of organization. This is for European campaign. So
that's
it's not like
vision. Short-term vision. Maybe we can create something that is more long-term vision.
Well, anyways, if we remove the word all, this discussion is irrelevant because then the problem will be passed on to the parties when they should need to sit down and discuss.
But that's okay.
So that is why I support it. I mean, we disagree on how to do it, but by removing all that, this disagreement is not
Okay.
relevant right now. So we
Can
let's move on.
Can we remove it, please? Okay, so we remove it, and as long as we don't specify how we are gonna do the majority rule, it's gonna be consensus.
No, it's a problem for the future parties that
Just suppress it.
Okay.
We are not the participating parties. I think let them choose. Just give without strong majority, some seat, the same without strong majority. Yes, just the good idea. I think good. Yes, that's for one non-participant.
Okay. So can we delete B now?
Yeah, B was like you can see if I just moved it. Yeah,
Okay, can we agree on A then?
Did we all agree?
No, not everyone. You never agree.
So this
What about if we just drop the whole sentence, but it's not saying anything, it's not already said before?
Oh no, please don't open the discussion again.
This point is wholly void, this third point.
That's why I want to propose that the part where first we decide how it works. First we propose an idea, then we discuss, then we choose. That's why I prefer that the number 3 will be ordered like this.
are we on line 21 now?
Yeah, but I would like to discuss before with the other line. Like 23 first. If we are open to 23 first, 23.
Okay, there is
it's easier to discuss to the rest. We are jumping far.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
Oh, actually, it's put like that on purpose. So, but we can do the line 23 first, and then go to 21. Vector 20, to test one. Okay, so line 25 we are at now before we do line 23. Okay, so I'm reading the common program and the proposal shall be prepared and published on the internet. So basically, we will have to have a platform where we collect the proposals and where we publish them.
Can one or two people go out of the pad so it will work properly?
Any comments?
Please drop prepared. What does it mean it should be prepared on the internet? Does it mean you cannot prepare anything offline or what?
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Rephrase. There has to be possibility to prepare that.
Yes, I think that is, it's not finished, or it's not, this wording is not very good. It should be that there should be possibility to prepare the proposals for the internet. And the status, all the status that is going around them, like parties approving them and so on, that belongs to the preparation. This is the preparation of the common program, which is not yet approved to all parties.
Yes. In the previous part 1 and 2, we agreed. Okay, well, no. Sorry.
Okay, so Jens or someone else, do you have any way to rephrase it?
Publicly at the widest possible participation. It is prepared publicly and at the widest possible.
So it can be prepared like anyhow. It just has to be publicly adopted. But it's up to the parties how they prepare their proposal for other parties.
Yeah, but the important point is to do it publicly and that everybody can participate. Or it's not important that it is digitally or if I write it with my pen and send it to everyone by letter. So it's just phrasing this the wrong thing. Yes, but how did this thing with every pilot and made a proposal? I think this makes sense because it's up to the party to set up the process to approve proposals. But I think to write the proposals, that would be a common work of pilots. So, otherwise, we have not so much time. We have first to set up national procedures to make these proposals, and then the second procedure to approve all proposals. And those make sense.
So we should leave to the European Party the way to choose the tools, so we can like lay down some specification.
Okay.
So it should be prepared publicly and openly in a way that every pirate party could participate.
Why just the pirate party?
Actually, what was the major idea is have a platform to enable everybody, every pirate and every pirate party to participate. So that's how we should word it. I'm not sure the B is optimal now because it sort of bans someone making a proposal and just submitting it.
Yes.
It is.
So how about the common program and proposals shall be?
What will it mean publicly, openly? Will the proposals be prepared in Estonia, for example, in Estonian, and who will know what they write and make?
I think the best platform would be a wiki page with translations, where you can just put in your proposal and system like that, and the parties can comment on it.
But you cannot force every party to do what we want. I think,
yes, but you can
I think they will propose and prepare it on their own way, how they think it's good.
There should be possibility to prepare them on this system.
Yeah, possibility, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Possibility must be there.
The possibility to prepare them on the internet. That's the biggest issue you have.
Okay, we move to Piraten part since because of technical problems. Could you post the address to the second part so everybody can switch?
Why not just scratch the sentence?
Yes.
I mean, do anyone think that it will be done in backward corner of XML? Why just not scratch the sentence? I mean, the pirate part is pretty much an online improvement. We will do it online one way or another.
Another PPI General Assembly shows quite clearly that the practice now is not that things are done online. The only time we can actually decide is or do something that everybody comes together to one place on a conference. It's not the common practice now to do PPI.
There is no
international
PPE
practice stuff online.
Well, there is no PPE practice anyways. So.
Yes, but there is sort of international practice of the pirate parties.
But this is the whole problem with the whole point.
Okay, how about?
Yeah, let me phrase. You try to pre-formulate something like statutes or procedures in advance of the founding conference, which we'll have probably end of the year, and prescribing something to the founding is a bad thing.
Okay, so I think it might be reasonable to delete it now and have, for example, if no one else does it, we'll prepare the online system to submit the proposals, and where the parties can publish how they are doing approving of them. But so I think it would be good to declare that something like that will be available, but as we can't really force anyone to do it. Maybe it's redundant.
At one point or another, there will need to be a choice of a social thing to issue this program. So there will be a tool that will be chosen and decided, and we will take turns to use that tool. And if someone will say, no, I don't want to use that tool, we will say, sorry, we need to choose one tool.
You don't need a tool to pass a proposal. You just need to.
You will vote. Either you people will come in the room, that's tool number 1, that's Pakistan Union, or tool number 2, we will do electronic voting, like the whatever. They need something where the decision will be issued. And okay, now we should do, if we have specifications that will say this program will be prepared or published, okay, so we can put it, but we go so far as designing the tool, and if we don't have an agreement, we let it for the future we can have.
Okay. Who is objecting to deleting the sentences?
I am objecting. I don't think that's very good idea. There should definitely be some way.
Yeah, I can speak. Thank you. Can I actually now speak?
Yes, you can hear you.
Okay, so I think that if we are about to have a political program with the pirate parties of the European Union and we want to include all the pirates in the European Union, it is necessary that we declare that this is done over the internet. If it's not done, it is done in some conference, we will not include all the pirates in the European Union. That is why the declaration is there, and that is why I think it makes sense to have it there.
It shows mailing list.
It should be rephrased, perhaps so that it wouldn't imply that any other way is forbidden. But it should definitely, there should definitely be something to state that the main gathering of proposals and their preparation is being worked out on an internet webpage.
Okay, how about the common program and the proposals shall be published on the internet? Is it good enough?
Yeah, quite fine.
I would say no. I would say everything that is describing how this is supposed to be done is redundant. We want to agree on what we want to achieve now. And then the parties that actually need to achieve that, they will have to sort out how. Whatever we decide now, if they disagree with it, they will just scrap it anyways. So the only thing we need to agree on now is what we want to achieve, not how we want to achieve it.
That's right.
Well, it's very hard to criticize ACTA negotiations that they are done in secret and not have any provisions or declaration that would impede this.
I'm not saying that we should act like ACTA. I'm saying that if you think that talk with your party, make sure that that party voices that concern when the parties gather to decide how this should be achieved. It's not for us to decide, it's for them to decide later on.
Yeah, you're saying that it would be mandatory to do like an electronic platform, and that other ideas would be to make a Congress meeting, political meeting, for example, another one in Prague, Berlin, whatever. You would like us here now to forbid the idea that a meeting would create results. And as I say, it's not us to decide. After thinking, maybe the A is still a good idea to keep, because prepared, we can prepare anything on the internet. It's easy, published, it's afterward. What is not written in the A is how the decisions are made. And this is left out for the future.
It's up to the parties, because they just have to approve of the thing.
Like this whole thing is after the parties, that is what we were saying at the very beginning. But once we should give clear instructions how we as the assembly view this. And I think that if we are about to create a political program and we say some to the parties, we declare to them that we want this political program, we also should say that we want to be prepared openly on the internet so that everybody can participate.
So I suggest we can keep the A.
But that is the very core of the pirates. That we prepare and collaborate openly, I thought.
Yes,
so we must not state it again.
Yes. Oh, it's a declaration.
It doesn't hurt.
I guess the same from that.
Maybe we all agree on that. It was a different proposal.
Do you have objection against that kind of thought being included in the declaration?
Oh yes, I can object.
Yes, okay, so your objection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a objection.
Oh, I think that should be decided by the people that actually do it later on, not us. We should not try to force them to act in the way we want, because if they disagree with us, they will not do it anyways. If you have that, they will probably put online, the program will be decided on this meeting, and proposals can be sent in by email, then it's prepared online, and then it will publish the result. And then it fulfills that text, but not your intention. So you can't force your intention with that text anyways, so just scrap the text.
What do you mean? It will be published on the internet?
Oh, it will be published on the internet, but I think you want people to be actually to participate in the internet. And they can
just remember, we are the people who recommend something, we intend to. So maybe we could say we recommend that the program, the proposal, be prepared publicly and play. It's a recommendation. It's a spirit.
No, this should be a kind of commitment. We need to achieve something today.
But to be a pilot is commitment enough.
No, it's not party, no. Remember,
there are fake parties.
Yeah, there are fake parties, but we will know that.
Not to say, c'est pas ce qu'on a dit. Remember who we say we are. We are people that we recommend.
Yes, but this text should be. So wait, is there any objection to we keep A, we remove B, C, G, S? Is there any objection?
Matthias.
Oh yes. Yes. Okay. What your suggestion is to remove all. Yes. So is there an objection anyway to remove B, C, G, S or any? And then the question will be, we keep A, yes or no?
Give people a chance to formulate an alternative, or if you want someone else to formulate alternative proposals, they're free to do so.
Can we have something of a vote? How we go on? Will we discuss it further, or will we remove it?
It's sort of premature to vote before there are all proposals available. What? All right.
So I don't see any difference between A and C, and I agree on any.
Maybe what is the spirit of the sentence? Let's decide the spirit, not the word, because it's a problem of words. What is the spirit? The spirit is that the discussion is public and open, and internet is a good way to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not the other sense. Internet does not guarantee the open and the public. Be careful. If we say just internet, it will be privatory logiciel to do this, to monopoly access, but say that it's public and open, and internet is a good way, I think it's a sense.
Can we maybe state instead of prepared that we say shall be discussed, or because I think what you said before, Matthias, was that people would then say, yes, we prepared, we say it will be discussed there and there, so then the program, yes, it is prepared for on the internet, but it's not actually discussed. So
I don't agree. We need to leave room for discussion outside the internet in a meeting like today. Yeah. Otherwise, they will say, should be discussed on internet, so even this meeting will be cancelled.
Fair point. That's okay.
So A and B, no, A and C seems okay. We should remove the B, the GS, then we choose between A and C or nothing.
I think we should remove A and C and the B and B.
No,
I don't think we should. Are there any more proposals? Are these the proposals we have here?
Yes.
So we don't need to pre-eliminate anything. Just see what proposal has the majority behind it.
Someone will pick up.
So, who wants to delete all of them? Okay. I don't know which one's the most consensual one. Who wants to go for A?
To keep it or keep it?
Oh, keep A.
C is rephrasing of A.
Who wants to do B? And who wants to go for C? Okay.
I think the right question was, if internet is the only way to discuss and prepare. This is a question I think we all agree that no, there is other way than internet. Okay, so if we say on internet, what about the phrase the base between them?
Well, I contend that this discussion is on the internet. Right there, HTTPS query learning, EP.
Yes, but you are not only on the internet.
What is the result of the vote?
Yeah, it's like we just see that we are split.
Well, I can participate with it.
Yeah, I would think a compromise of both would be best. We can join from everywhere of the world to this discussion. We have streaming, we have pirate pads, and a discussion face to face is much more effective than only with pirate pads. So I would suggest a compromise where everybody can join, but we have a face to face meeting.
Okay. So how about at least there will be possibility to submit the proposals on the internet, which is why it's sort of obvious.
Can we just agree that the process of creating will be transparent and the results will be published on the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Process. Great.
Creating the program. Okay. Anyone objecting this?
Just one point to add, common programs.
Yep.
Well, yes, I can get to this as well. So basically, the process will be transparent, and people will describe it as non-transparent, and we will have a fight with that afterwards, regardless how we do it. And the only thing we do is we give you right now the trolls that will argue that it was not transparent enough. A total fashion have everyone else say, look, it was said it was transparent, this was obviously not transparent enough, you have not fulfilled the intent of the declaration back in profit. Open is better way. Well, I think that whatever, open is always better, because transparent, people have a very fixed notion of what is transparent and what
Okay, they want the open instead of transparent.
Because, I would say neither, because it will just be as much people in having that. It will be created open anyways, but the people that will be disappointed with it will use this text to say what's not in line with this text, because they don't think it's open.
We want to push this in politics. How can we not agree on this in our processes?
In fact, we just had a vote, and we see that we are not in consensus about any of these points. We could just start adding other points, or we could just drop it. As I understand it, we try to reach consensus, not voting at 60 to 40. So the result of the vote we just had would be drop all this.
So mean we stop at line 25. Matthias, is there any way where we declare the openness and the net accessibility of the program, which you wouldn't object?
Well, I wouldn't object anyways. You can have it in between and you're saying that it will not help, it will actually just be a nuisance in there, but it's not a big problem for me.
Okay.
You're on the wrong path, are you?
Yes. PPD. Okay, so
D, I mean, go with D if you want to. It will make the process more annoying for everyone in the long run, and it will not make difference. But if it's important for you to do the text now, it's fine with me.
Okay, so who is for D?
For D.
That's sort of compromise. Anyone who's gonna be like,
yes, it's
so
it's sentence without any meaning. The process will be transparent. What does it mean? The process will be transparent. Doesn't mean that 20 people gather in a room in Prague and nobody else in the world is going to be able to participate except if they see what the results are on the path created at this moment and they don't hear the discussion when something is decided. I don't really call it transparency, and this declaration is probably the better topic than this.
Yes, the point is probably about the fact if people should participate on internet or if this will be made by a closed group somewhere.
I agree with the fact that physical meetings are useful and powerful doing projects. But if we talk about democracy, we have to think about the people that cannot move so often and cannot stand with many physical meetings. So, internet is at best democratic solution to let people, far people, join and work together. Now we have the instruments, we have the third party. I don't know why we have to reduce with the old style working methods. So we have to do the process of creating the program by internet. Okay? This is my point.
I ask a question. Is there no consensus and we drop it, or do you think we have to spend time to clarify this opinion? My question is just that. I'm for dropping it.
We drop consensus, we drop ABCD.
Yes.
Drop it all. Don't focus.
Drop ABCD.
Wasn't a priority for me earlier? Sometimes you should make a decision and then go on.
Yeah, the decision is dropping it.
Dropping ABCD. Yeah, the decision move on because we don't have consensus.
We need someone who counts the arms who are in
So
the air.
we try again. Drop ABCD. Who's counting?
Simple.
Wants to keep it?
Keep what?
Or like everything. One option forward.
Keep it.
Who is against dropping?
Who is against dropping or?
6.
Okay.
So let's go then. Let's do it and go on.
Then let's take up all those
The spirit is good, but we are losing time to keep it. It's just the meaning of the vote. We all agree that there is something to say, but it's not maybe not the time and not the place.
Okay, we move to, is it 21? We did not do it. Oh no, we passed that one.
Excuse me, are we, on which pad are we now?
Yeah.
That's the right one. On the German one. That's on the
So, I think we already agreed that we will not a consensus on the GS.
We can just drop it.
So we can drop the GS.
Yeah, this is from yesterday.
Okay.
Doesn't have any meaning. This is my initials. But I did write it.
Wow. Okay, now we are on point 4.
Oh, it's a shame. I'll ask Matthias if you can.
But we have not agreed on line 19 yet.
to
Who agrees on line 19?
19.
11 people, 12, 13, 14. Who disagrees with line 19?
Could someone explain what this really means? I
Yeah.
don't get it. I really don't get what this means. Seriously. Every participant
Who wrote
is
line
able to
19?
So it means that during the discussion that will lead to the preparation of the program, so every party will be able to give its opinion, to set forth its opinion, and when the program will be drafted, every party will have to decide if they agree or not. They will have an internal voting, so every party will be able to report the state with procedure. Means, for this point, I'm in the state of getting to vote my members. This is what it means.
Will be enabled to set forth its opinion then. Because of course it's able, but the question is, you're waiting for the party to set forth its opinion. Otherwise it doesn't mean anything.
So it means, no, actually it means that when we are making the program, the parties will be able to participate and they will be able to publish how they are doing with the procedure. So unless we have this basic technical backing, we can't really do it. So that's what this sentence says.
The proposal, I think we have concentrated in the during the.
No, it was APCD, the proposal, but we decided not to.
Did we give the opportunity to set forth?
Okay, we just move with, to the point 4. So that's the question of coordinating the campaign. Yeah. So first, I want to ask Matthias if he thinks this is a realistic proposal or not. The first one. You cancelled it already? Or
What is the idea of point 4?
Yeah, the idea was that right now the MEPs are the only people who have the resources to do some sort of global support for coordinating the campaign. So we wanted some institutional backing for the process, but it doesn't have to be there. But this was the idea.
Does this mean the MEPs right now with Christian and Amelia? Because I think it's not the real framework for us in our declaration here to decide that they should do something, and even the parties they can ratify this, can actually do something. So
I was asking just what he thinks.
I'm pretty sure they will have a bunch of accounts, but I don't see any need for it. I not wanted to decide what they should do.
Okay, so I would just skip the whole part 4. Because they also support it anyway.
So we'll cross it out?
Yeah, that's what I propose.
I will agree to, I think we should not commit anything on them. They are not here, they have other business plans. I think we should not mention the MEPs, and also the PPI, we are just founding the European Party, so that the PPI will not be embedded in our work. I think the point 4 should be removed, and only the next point, the point 5, would be the one supporting or coordinating whatever the campaign. You can move downstairs to the point 5. Show the point 5 now.
Do we want to have a short rule to stretch out point 4? Do we all agree?
Okay, let's first try to stretch out all point 4, and then if we don't have consensus on that, we will deal with it. So we start stretching out the whole point 4.
Sorry, what's the vote?
You have to stretch out the whole point 4. Okay.
So we left 40. Who's against? Go
ahead. Okay, so just leave it out.
Three.
Yeah.
What if we stretch out everything?
There is something
And
which is good.
I think we could agree upon, empty paper, because it seems like we are concentrating on wording, and actually we just deleted stuff that feels really natural, like third parties are working online, right? They are open, and we just stretch out the discussion.
Okay, let's reopen it. If we just want to create a spark.
Let's first go through the document and then see if there is a need to add something to it.
So, line 25.
Oh, okay. So line 25. Yeah.
Oh, I can start. I don't know what political party at European level means. So I would suggest we rephrase it as to European political party, because that is actually defined by the European Union as a certain.
Yeah, that was, I agree. That was the idea.
As a European political party.
UPP, European Political Party.
So use the thing that you can set when you have, I don't know, MPs from 7 countries. Is it what you are talking about?
Yes. The thing that gives us money from the European Union. No. That's
Just
as a European,
as a European political party,
Can we add as soon as possible? Then we have the meaning of when we really are meeting the regulations and so on. But we establish it.
No, I think that is redundant.
What?
I think it's redundant, and it's not necessarily best to do it as soon as possible. I would say we should do it as soon as convenient, which might be slightly later on, but better organized. So I would not agree for as soon as possible. I would not actually create an organization before they fulfill the criteria of the European political party. So as soon as possible is actually today.
But I understand we cannot establish it or repeat or
we can, but it will not be recognized by we can establish it, but it will not be recognized by the European Union until it fulfills the criteria.
Okay,
then establish it.
Then I with you.
Okay, so as when the requirement is okay.
No. Because then we cannot establish it until the requirement is met. It might be better to establish it before that. So just agree to establish it,
or even after that,
or even after that. So
no, it's about establishing political party. It's about establishing political party at European level. Why you suggested the version B? Can you speak something?
I did.
What is it supposed to mean?
Well, the difference is that the European political party is exact definition made by the European Union on what it has to, what criteria it has to fulfill. What a political party at European level is, we don't know, and we will probably disagree on what it is.
Okay, so we want to establish something we don't know.
Well, A is something we don't know, B is something we actually know. And so I suggest we should go for B, which we know, instead of A, which we don't know.
Why do we know what B is?
What is B? Yes,
B is the legal definition of it, because you can read it up in the Wikipedia, exactly.
The legal definition is political party at European level.
It is?
You can read it here. Regulation number 2004, 2003, European Parliament, and so on. Just read the regulation.
Okay, sorry, then I was wrong. We'll go for it. We never use that definition in the Parliament.
Okay, so
we need to double check that.
Excuse me, that's not a question. European reference is the name of the party.
Okay.
European Party. Is it the name of the party?
No.
Because if I read this sentence, I understand this.
It's a working draft of the name. The name will be decided at the founding.
Okay, so we should put something that doesn't sound like it's decided already.
What means formally here?
Correct law.
Yes.
So it means used to be.
Used to be, yes.
Careful, this is Wikipedia, this is not
Who is native English speaker here?
Read the regulation.
Yes, I was wrong, he is right, go with A.
And stop this discussion. You don't know the regulation.
Yeah, but this is not regulation.
This is not Wikipedia page.
This is Wikipedia, this is not the text of law.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Open the regulation, and you can read it there.
Okay, so you're saying A is good?
Yes, I say I was wrong, go with A.
Okay, okay. So
B is how we used to talk about it in the parliament, but A is the formal word.
Okay, that's very
Okay, so I think instead of European pirates, we should put something like organization of pirate parties.
No.
No.
Never.
Can we go back to the party?
That was yesterday's discussion.
So, do we agree on that, A?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we should add a sentence saying that this political party will be the one who will do who will set up the common program. That will be the body that is discussed in 1, 2, 3, something like that.
What?
No, program appears once parties pass it. You don't need the organization for the program.
I think we need to start with the
No,
program
I mean
before we
the
manage to have this party.
The discussion and decision tool that will be the one to issue the program, the one who will have to set the program, the one that we said that it should be transparent, that tool should be supervised, monitored, coordinated, whatever, by the Ukraine.
Yeah, but we can set it up formally only after we are in the EU Parliament.
No. This we can set it tomorrow.
But
we
can't. I think it's advised to block developing the program until we have the organization, when we have the tools to do it.
Okay.
So I think that's why it's not practical.
So whenever this party will exist, it will take over the coordinating of the campaign. That's what we want, right? I think that the body, that will be a European political party, and who will do the work that we have done in here? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, but the point of existence of the political party is that it's organization that already has a program. So from this point of view, the program is the first, and then we can set up a party.
Yeah, I would even say that the stuff we already said about the program for the election 2014 has nothing to do with this organization in a way. It must be the same. It must not be the program of this organization, and the organization must not do the program. It's not correlated yet, and it must not be. It need not be.
Yeah, it need not be.
This is different things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You need a group of people, a work team, to set up the platform, to set up a wiki, to organize the vote. So it's a group of people with a way to elect the
yeah, but it doesn't have to have statutes.
They need to have statutes. They need to have. So this will be the political party.
Statutes for a common program.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the program is work from the national parties, like if you have draft and like we do it anyway.
Yeah.
Regardless if you found European pirates or not. This is not
You refuse the spirit of this line.
No.
You need
it's just not necessary that PPEU takes everything over with regard to the program just because we found it. It's not necessary. They could try to do so if they are founded. This is dependent on the statutes and everything else, but still, either the program part and the PPEU organization part is to the parties which join and do it together. Nothing else.
Yeah, but you need a kind of structure to organize the gathering, the discussion.
Why?
You just needed people.
We don't use
who will set up the meeting? Who will set up the wiki? Who will set up the mailing list? Who will set up the domain name?
We, if we want to...
Why should we pretend to act globally as a European level and construct something that's abused?
Like, look at
give him some function maybe.
But look at PPI today. We spend like 3/4 of the time doing bureaucracy, voting people, voting on statute amendments. I think we can't afford such a waste for another organization. And I think we can't bound ourselves to do that. So I will just leave it out for now.
Okay, we can leave it out. But someone will have to do the work. Yes. Someone who will have to set up the system, to send email, copy
But whether this is going to happen is dependent on whether there are people who have the motivation to go for this project.
Yeah, okay.
And this declaration should enable it for them to actually propose the ideas to the parties and get some passed on the whole European level. It shouldn't like make it more difficult to do it. So I think we should leave it out. Okay, so we can just go quickly through the proposals on the bottom.
What's the? Yeah. What, we need to choose between A and B.
Oh.
I just correct the definition because European parrots is a little generic.
Yeah, okay, okay.
And, we are talking about the European parrot part. Is the second one.
Okay, so we can choose between A and B.
But there was another wording, like the Pirate Party of the Europeans.
What are the three?
Pirate Party of Europe.
Okay, I would argue that we should switch the order. We agree to establish a political party at the level for the European pirates. That is not fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Okay, then. Yeah, someone. Can you repeat?
We agree to establish a political party at European level for the European pirates.
Okay.
Very diplomatic.
Okay, sorry, repeat again.
We agree to establish a political party at European level for the European pirates.
Actually, it's safer to say for European pirate parties. Yeah. Otherwise, people will interpret it as that we are setting one huge organization for all the people.
Yeah, why not? Why not? We have not decided on it yet.
Because it's an organization formed by parties. It's what it means by definition.
No, it's not the PPI.
No, legally it can have individual members of parties as members of both. It's not defined in the EU regulations. So it could be for individuals, it could be for parties.
We have to decide of this.
Okay, I see. So then European pirates.
Can it be both?
Yes, it can be both.
What is the argument against option A?
Because in option A, people think European pirates is a name. And
yes, of course, it's a draft name.
Yes, some people don't want that name, so then we switch to C, so it is not seen as a name, but as defined in the group.
It's fine for me.
So, is there any objection?
Any objection to C?
C only?
Yeah.
Because it's pirates is a word both which is generic for pirate parties and individual pirates.
Yes, but it can be misleading.
Yeah.
In a way that we set this name for the organization, which is we don't have the mandate for.
No, we're not setting a name.
So we're not
Why problem is that there is a majuscule. It's not a majuscule, it's a minuscule. It's not for European, but that's the name. So European is characteristic.
Why not just drop for European pirates anyway?
If you just drop the 4 European pirates, you can say we agree to establish political party at European level.
I sort of have a feeling that some group has prepared that it's going to be named European Pirates, and they just repeat it here again and again. And that this hasn't been voted. And I don't know why we should apply it in this declaration.
Pirates of Europe. Yeah, then drop it.
Yeah, D is nice.
So, anyone object? Keeping D only? Anyone? Any objection?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so D accepted?
Yes.
Okay.
The simplest formulations.
There we go.
Great. Okay. Point 5.
Yeah. Remove it.
No.
Please.
No.
This one is because just at the top there is still the same thing.
Oh.
Let's have a look at the.
Can you show the top?
Or I prefer that this is here than in the top. In the bracket. Bracket that means it was started on.
So we need to choose to keep 5 or to keep 23.
Yeah, right? In the morning we decide that we living the number 6.
Yes.
Yes, but not at this place. At the top, at the down.
Oh, what 5 means that the parties will have the option to adopt this document. So what we are doing, the people on this assembly say we propose this to our parties, and then we have the option to adopt it as the parties. I don't see any problem with it.
No, you're saying we keep what?
The first sentence is wrong.
Oh, in the brackets.
We can because we decided already to drop the second half.
We can move the point
after following.
in 5 sections.
Yes, it's the same. It's the same.
Can we move
Can you move the
points to the
line
5
5
sections?
to the bottom, and then we have this debate?
Just like that.
Could be a cut 5 and put it at 9.
Okay. The line 3 should stay there. So in the line 24, the first part should be removed because it's already written in the line 3.
Yeah.
So a little bit of rephrase.
This document is to be proposed.
This declaration.
This is what you want?
No.
Yes.
Actually, propose then maybe.
Is there options A, B, C? Which
A is not really an option. B is a rephrase of A. So I think B and C should not stay together.
I would say, well, you can actually take the only important part in C, which is complete what is put into B. So this declaration is to be proposed for ratification by the competent bodies of the European Parliament.
Yes, I think that makes sense. Only so if you can cut this.
No, you can take all important part from C and put into B.
Ratification by the competent bodies.
To the competent bodies.
Who will do it? People in this room.
All the people who signed it here should do it this way.
Unless we submit this to the PPI, and if the PPI votes on this test, that
Try to write it in the active form because it's strange to have passive and active form at the same time. And maybe we propose this declaration for ratification to the competent bodies.
it's quite clear.
Passive form is to be proposed.
We invite.
It's not properly.
Yeah, this is today, this text. We're sending it.
We propose this.
Oh, okay, yeah, we propose this.
So just political.
Yeah, we. Yeah. Yeah, very good that we do.
Did we play Occupy?
B2 or more.
And they remove
why do you have the European parties every time?
The European parties are participating parties. There is the line 28, also line 3. The E of European is major, and it's not the same sentence that is in minor. I guess E is a name, and minor is an adjective.
Are we agreeing about the placing?
So that's a good progress. If we are arguing about the casing and not the word, it's a good progress. It means we almost finished. Okay, can we agree to keep B2, remove A, B1, and C?
Yeah.
Yes.
B2 only. Keep B2. Any objections?
Anyone to keep B2?
B2 only.
Only?
Yeah, only B2.
Anyone against?
I just propose to indicate a little post for who are the members. So, which states will be the European Party?
But we'll see that in half an hour. We can't see that.
Oh, I have an element of response. Okay, it's a very difficult topic. Shall we admit like countries that are on and off Europe? It's a very difficult question. I don't think we should answer now. But there is a clue. The clue is the line 6. We intend to run the election in the European Parliament. So any European party who is not member of European Union, okay, he can join if he wants. It's not us to decide. But what do we do then? That's just a clue.
Go scroll to the top, please. Okay, I just this. I don't know.
The 2?
Looks like it.
You mean 38?
Is a criteria.
And what is the 2 refer to?
The 2 refers to the line 35.
Yeah, but right in the sentence itself.
How about put the proposal of the participating parties? So if it's not.
It is just defining of who are the European Parliament members.
Yeah, but there are countries which are not in European Parliament now, but they are going to be running for the 2014 elections. And also, I don't think it's a good idea to put Wikipedia page as a backing of an official document.
Sure. No, we can just copy and paste the list. I know.
Well, I've been working against the new B and C under 5 which showed up, because then actually there would be no parties except people who have representatives here. I mean, if I leave, then you just decided not to propose it.
Oh, I see. But so I just delete the 2 and don't have any definition of
I agree also.
Okay, any objection to dropping the definition of Europe and just keep it European?
Because, for example, Turkey is in Europe, but they are not of the European Union. So they have to be accepted in this PPEU or not?
I don't think the Turkish Pirate Party is intending to run in the European elections 2004.
No, they can't.
Yes,
it's no problem whatsoever.
Our goal is to run to the elections of the European Parliament. It's obvious that we only have to beat the states of the European Parliament.
No, it's not obvious. Because there are people who
Yeah, you have Croatia and Serbia, who are not in EU now, and they will be next year. And then,
of course.
This discussion is not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
Let's just say,
just don't stay.
This is not the place to decide this.
Yes, I think we should put it as wide as possible, meaning European parties and not defined.
So can we remove?
yes. So who is for removing the 2?
Removing notes number 2.
Who's against?
Okay.
Can we remove line 37?
Yeah, I think we don't have resources to discuss the technical solution right now.
I propose it, the liquid filter, but it's very easy to switch on an instance. Why do we don't?
But we are not the competent body to do so.
As we said, we should not discuss the tools today.
It's not bound on the system, so.
Can we also remove line 38 and 40?
Yeah.
Yes. And okay.
There are several parties who will support you when it is in the General Assembly of PPEU, I think. But not now. Not now.
Okay, can we concise it so we can actually read it all together and see?
Can we agree on the word signature?
Can we put the signature to the last line?
Yeah.
So we have all the space in the page.
So now it's time for the kids.
You're still referring to Wikipedia, so we should probably replace the link or remove it at all.
Can everyone agree to this one?
Why should you remove this link? It's not necessary, but it's very good for people who actually read it to get the information they need.
What did it say?
This link is very useful.
Yes, but not to Wikipedia, to the text of law, Wikipedia, please.
But if you put the regulation number into Google, the first link would be the one from
Put this
Wikipedia.
link in the brackets.
The official journal is pain in the ass to read.
No, at least it will show Wikipedia first.
And it makes clear that the technical terms are defined in the regulation.
Sorry, it says that when we refer to Wikipedia to
Anyone double checking that this link is a proper source?
Is it the latest version of the launch?
Yes, it is.
It's a regulation.
I just took the source of Wikipedia, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You can see it on the page of the law itself. It should say it's the best.
Is it the official site?
It's not the right version.
Yes, we need to go. To scroll down the lower see the text all the way down the page. Down.
Yes, but it's not a codified version.
It's not the latest one.
Is it the right site or?
It's written there. Regulation has later amended. So this is the old version, which is
Okay. The 2007.
So if we go back, there's
This one?
So we don't know what it means.
So the can you go up the text?
I guess the second link is the good one or?
And then see, look at the text, the title. Amending regulation or the regulating, governing political parties at different levels.
But it's just the amendment. It doesn't say much. The only thing it's written like this. The article so on is amended as for. So what I suggest we just leave it out.
Yeah.
Because you can have more amendments later.
Okay. So we leave it out. People know Wikipedia. You can still just.
We consider our major capacity.
We are supposed to leave it out. We have many technical terms in this declaration.
this regulation by the EU, we make clear we mean these definitions in the regulations for our technical terms in the declarations. So I think it's important.
No, I think
included.
But this is what it means, what we intend to set up. It's like, it's important content-wise.
Yeah, because it defines the text.
Yeah. Say again.
It's defined like the law, in that there are technical terms in this regulation we refer to in our declaration. So it's important we make clear these terms declarations mean regulation text.
Yeah. So you want to just keep it like this?
But
no, with the link.
But you have the reference.
No, I don't mean the link. Okay,
yeah, you just want to leave it like this, so everybody.
Okay, I don't mean the link. I mean
yeah.
Like where find.
Just
Relax. Yes.
Okay, anyone?
But it's much easier if you have to link.
I go back to the line. I go back to the sprint. I just would like to write 10 because I abort the question of respective party or participating party like before. So I just put it on the table. It's not so bad, respective, but maybe participating party will be alright the same along the document. It's some form. Line 10.
Line 10.
What?
Yes, it's better to have participating parties because
all about the text. That's what I propose.
Okay. Anyone objecting?
It's the same for program. We have to check.
Line 10. We are just putting participating.
Respect. About program and Google.
Just one person, please.
I don't think it's a good idea. We should leave it like it was, and I will explain why. We already agreed that we will not 100% of party. It may happen that some party will not agree on some point of the program. So if there is one party that will not have a common program included in its own program, this line A becomes wrong. So I suggest to keep it to the...
No, it's an intent.
It's an intent. Which I think we should put back the respective mean the one who included in their program.
People will not read it that way. People will not see the difference on the minority party.
Yes, they will say, I'm a party, and I will not have this part in my program, so you cannot have it. But often we go back to the veto problem.
And then you just go back to, well, it's own intention, it's not required.
And a kind of obligation.
We should put it back the way it was.
It's in the context.
Yeah, common. We should put it back the way it was. Now we're creating a problem. We're creating a blocking, a choking point.
Okay. So let's just decide it by vote unless someone like has super big objection. So who is for respective? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Who is for participating? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
And you said the respective or just language? The respective or respective?
Yes, the respective of the respective parties.
So do we have a complete consensus on this text? Yeah. Is there any objection to this text as it stands? So unanimity? Great!
Poor Jakub had an objection.
I had a lot of time, like 5 seconds. What about to switch in the third article with the sentences? Because I think first you should talk about the common program and then about how it should be run.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
There's a big change we discussed.
So, try again. Any objection to this text as it stands?
Okay, just wait. Jakob?
Any more? We can clap.
Can we clap?
Yeah!